everybody. I'd like to open the meeting at 9:02 on Wednesday, the 10th of July. I don't believe we have any absentees. Everybody's here, so good morning. If I could have somebody please move the confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting on the 26th of June 2024. Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 26th of June 2024 be confirmed.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Seawright. All those in favour? 9-0. We'll move on to 8.1. 67.
Sorry, Mayor, you just have the special budget minutes as well.
Sorry, Don?
Just the special budget minutes need to be confirmed.
Oh, it's not in there. Okay, could I have someone move the minutes of the special budget meeting on the 26th of June 2024? Councillor Seawright.
I move that the minutes of the special budget meeting held on 26th of June 2024 be confirmed.
Have a seconder? Councillor Brumpton. All those in favour? 9-0. Now we'll move on to 8.1. 8.1 is the assignment of councillors' portfolios. Do I have a mover? Councillor Davis.
Thank you. I move that council approve the councillor portfolios policy as presented. One.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Council amend.
Amend.
Council amend first.
Okay. I'll start again. That council amend resolution number OM/06.2024/55 and replace with highlighted changes in blue.
Is that good enough? Yep.
No, you got to say that. Keep going. Council.
3, undertake a review of relevant policies to ensure they reflect the introduction of the councillor portfolio policy. 4, undertake a review of councillor portfolios policy in 12 months from adoption.
Do I have a seconder?
Second.
Councillor Flynn. Would the mover like to speak?
Thank you. Just to say that this is a slight change to mine and Councillor Flynn's portfolios. Councillor Flynn will be taking on planning and building portfolio, and I'll have the community safety portfolios. All other portfolios are as adopted at our previous meeting.
Okay, anyone like to speak against? Anyone else like to speak?
Just for completeness, I do think the whole thing needs to be
I thought
read
that
out.
too.
Yeah,
Yep.
So the whole thing from number 2, Cameron.
from the start, the whole recommendation all the way down and through to 4.
Okay. So that council amend resolution number OM/06.2024/55 and replace with highlighted changes in blue. That council approve the councillor portfolios policies as presented. And 2, approve the following allocation of council portfolios to Mayor Taylor, Government Relations, Federal, State, Local, Major Stakeholder Engagement, Disaster Management, Chair LDMG, Salyards and Executive Management, Deputy Mayor O'Neill, Rural Roads, Major Projects, Stakeholder Engagement and Advocacy, Facilities and Airports, Councillor Hancock, Economic Development and Events and Quarry, Councillor Burkett, Utilities, Water, Sewerage and Gas and Youth, Councillor Vincent, Environment and Waste, Tourism, Town Roads, Streets and Footpaths, Councillor Seawright, Rural Services, Stock Routes, Wild Dogs, Pest Management and Fleet.
I thought it was plant and fleet, didn't we?
I actually think that that's biosecurity as well.
Yeah, actually.
And I thought we put plant and fleet in there.
It
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Councillor Seawright.
So I'll start with Councillor Seawright again, is Rural Services and Biosecurity, Plant and Fleet. Councillor Davis, Local Business and Procurement, Community Safety and Town Beautification. Councillor Flynn, Sport and Recreation, Planning and Building. Councillor Brumpton, Finance, Audit and Risk. Parks and Gardens, Arts and Culture. 3, undertake a review of relevant policies to ensure they reflect the introduction of the council portfolios policy. 4, undertake a review of the council portfolios policy within 12 months of the adoption. Number 4, undertake a review of the council portfolio policies in 12 months from adoption.
Okay, so we're all good and we've spoken, everybody's wants to
Yeah,
speak?
still happy to second, yeah.
Yes. And we've spoken for. Anyone against? Anyone else like to speak for? Going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 8.2, community consultation, Roma Airport Services.
I would like to declare a conflict of interest on this matter. Community consultation, Roma Airport Services. My name is Peter Flynn.
Councillor Flynn, just hold up for the minute taker.
Oh, sorry.
You didn't put this in before?
Sorry, what's that?
You didn't let Kelly know that you were doing conflict?
I'm declaring conflict, yeah.
Now?
On item 2, on item 8.2.
Yeah. Okay.
The person with the interest is myself. The related party is my business, Maranoa Travel Centre, which I'm a sole trader of. Particulars of the interest is that the matter relates to the business that I am an owner of. I believe it is a prescribed conflict of interest, and I will leave the room while the matter is being discussed and voted on.
Ready when you are. Okay, do I have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move the council approve a community engagement session to provide opportunities for residents and users to ask questions and provide feedback to council regarding the current services being offered at the Roma Airport.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Brompton?
I've just got a question.
Yes.
Can we also, I don't know if it's whether it's amendment or it'll be included, the feedback from the last two we had for Qantas? It was a similar thing. It was just for Qantas. Just so,
Do we have anything on that?
well, I don't know if there was information recorded or not, because we had 2 full sessions.
Yeah, I remember them, but I don't know that, did we take anything on
Yeah,
that?
are you asking can councillors receive that?
No, yeah, just to, so like, because it might be similar questions, or just to see what the history was with that one, moving forward for this one.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing, just different airlines.
Yeah. We could just ask for that though, John.
Okay, yeah, well, I could put in S170, I suppose. Yeah.
I can provide that information to
We'll
councillors.
get it before we do it, I think. Would the mover like to speak?
I would, thanks very much.
Excuse me, Cameron, Councillor O'Neill, can we just take out the with? I don't believe that was
Sorry, I
on
never
there.
said it. To
Yeah.
council regarding just the word, with, Thanks, Nikita. I'm happy to move this. I'm happy to speak in favour of it. The Mayor's obviously tabled it, but as I hold the portfolio for airports, I'm happy to speak on this matter. I think it is important that a community session is undertaken. There has been a lot of comments, both made publicly, but also one-on-one to councillors that form this term of council, to candidates who stood at the last election about some of the challenges and issues that commuters are facing with services through the Roma Airport. And I think it is important for us as a local government to hear directly from our community on these matters, and that we can provide that back to the contractor and as well as the state government in relation to any issues, and work through those to ensure that we've got a good service in and out of Roma for the people that use it, both the business community from Roma, business community from outside of our region, and of course the residents across the Maranoa who use the service as well. So I'm supportive of this and look forward to hearing directly from the community.
Anyone against? I'd like to speak for then. The reason I put this up is because so many residents have spoken to me about the airport and the services that Rex are providing. We also have to have a meeting with Rex is part of our partnership agreement. So I would like to hear from the community first before we do that, so that I know what they want me to take to the table. So I just think we need to get anybody that, would like to give us the feedback so we know exactly how our community's feeling when we do go to the table with Rex. So anyone else like to speak? Councillor Burkett.
Yeah, I'll support this. It's similar to, we went through the same concerns with the previous, with Qantas previously when early in our last term. So it's important. We had a lot of locals, including professionals, that travel in and out. It was good. Actually, it was probably the most well-attended forums we had, I think, in the term, with people attending, which was good. So hopefully we get some good feedback, whether it's positive or negative, so we can move forward.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone else like to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Councillor Flynn is back in the room. Councillor O'Neill.
Madam Mayor, I would like to move a change to the agenda and move that we deal with item C13, the recruitment of the Chief Executive Officer, next in the agenda.
Do you have a seconder? Councillor Davis. All those in favour? 9-0. Anyone move to go into closed? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that, in accordance with the provisions of section 254J3, the Local Government Regulation 2012, local government may resolve to close a meeting of the public to discuss confidential items as council or members consider it necessary to close the meeting. I've moved.
Okay, seconder? Councillor Vincent.
Did you put
All those in
Oh,
favour?
sorry,
you need to list.
and I'll list C13
Yeah.
as the item to discuss at the moment.
Okay. 9-0. We're in closed. Councillor O'Neill.
Madam Mayor, it was remiss of me not to list fully the item in which we're going into closed for, and so I'd like to list the item is C13, recruitment of Chief Executive Officer.
Okay. So
I will now move again that we go into the closed.
can I have a seconder? Councillor Burkett. All those in favour? 9-0. We're in closed. We're just going to do C13. If I have a mover, Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that Council 1 appoint the preferred candidate on and from the 12th of August 2024 as its Chief Executive Officer in accordance with Section 194 of the Local Government Act 2009. 2, delegate to the Mayor the power to A, finalise the employment terms with the preferred applicant in accordance with the contract of employment as presented, and B, enter into a contract of employment with the preferred applicant.
Have a seconder? Councillor Seawright, would you like to speak?
I will. Thanks very much, Mayor. I'm supportive of this today because we as a council need to appoint a permanent person into the role of CEO. And whilst it's still a little bit cryptic in relation to who it is, it will only be a short matter of time before we make that formal announcement. But what I want to talk to is the process. I think this has been one of the most respectful and open and transparent processes of recruiting the Chief Executive Officer. And it has meant that all 9 councillors that sit in this chamber have been active participants in the process from start to finish. And it's got to be that because at the end of the day, the CEO is the sole employee that the elected representatives of council have a vote on. We can make the decision who sits in the chair to guide our organisation and lead our organisation from an operational perspective. And you can only, in my view, make a full decision on that when you're actively involved in the entire process. And so I thank council for agreeing that it is all 9 of us as the elected body of this term of Maranoa Regional Council to make this decision. I thank our acting CEO and Mayor for the leadership that they've shown throughout this process as well, and for the engagement that we've had as an entire council. And I look forward to a notice from Mayor Taylor that our preferred applicant has signed on the dotted line, and we can make a formal announcement to our community who the next Chief Executive Officer of Maranoa Regional Council is.
Anyone like to speak against? Anyone else like to speak for? Councillor Hancock.
I think Councillor O'Neill has summed it up perfectly, but I'd just like to add my own personal opinion of the process of being able to elect the candidate for the CEO of the Maranoa Regional Council. This is the second time I've been through the process of choosing a new CEO, and without a doubt, this process has been the most open and inclusive that I've been involved in. And I personally want to thank Mayor Taylor for allowing all your 9 councillors the opportunity to be involved, to ask the questions, to be part of it, to be able to be part of the interviews and to get a feel for ourselves. And the process has been very open, very transparent, very inclusive of all 9 councillors. And so therefore we feel that we have all been able to make this decision with all the information that you've seen, we've seen. So we've all been able to make that decision based on all that information. I too want to acknowledge our acting CEO, Cam Hoffman. Thank you for your leadership through this process. It has been amazing, CEO Cam, and I just want to thank you and your staff for all the assistance you've given us. It has been seamless, it has been professional, and it has been done with excellence, and I thank you for that.
Anybody else like to speak? Councillor?
Yeah, I think it's all been said. I just want to acknowledge acting CEO Cam for all his work, and I know he's probably thrown in the lion's den, but yeah, very respectful of what he did with everyone, the whole organisation. And I do hope, and I've said this to you, that you have a rest after this, and even if you take a couple of weeks off, but because you deserve it. And yeah, mate, so thank you very much for everything that you've done.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Vincent?
Yep, I just agree with everyone that's spoken so far, and also to thank CEO Cam for the professionalism in recruiting this CEO to replace him from his short time in the chair.
Anybody else? Councillor Brumpton?
Again, I'd like to reinforce what everyone has said, but also, a particular thanks to acting CEO Cam. It's sad to see you go, really, because you've done a wonderful job from my perspective, and including being so professional through this recruitment process for the new CEO. But really like to thank you for the incredible work you've done with us since we've started. Thanks, Cam.
Anybody else? Okay, I'll have a go. Not that there's anything left to say, as you said, but I too would like to thank all of you, because you all came to the table, you all dug in, and I believe the process was seamless, and I believe we all had our say. And I just think this is a great team, and I just think we're going to go from strength to strength. Also, I'd like to thank you, Cam. Couldn't have done it without you, of course, you know that, and to my deputy as well. But as a whole, I think we've made the right choice. I think we were just looking forward to this next chapter with us. So yeah, I just thank you all. would you like to sum up?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. All nice comments to Cam. Of course, you're not going anywhere, and there's another 4-6 weeks to go until the new CEO will be appointed. But Cam, I do want to take a moment to further express my thanks. With Mayor Taylor being absent for a period over the last couple of weeks too, it meant that you and I worked very closely together, particularly around the budget. I just feel that this has been the greatest start to a term of council that I've been involved in now 4 terms. And it was significant changes straight up with the former CEO resigning and the new stepping into the role. We didn't blink, and you had a job to do, and you did it, and you did it with the professionalism we knew that you would. I commend you for making a call for yourself that right now in your career this is not the right step to be right at the pointy end, and I want to acknowledge that you've made a call because of family commitments, etc. And I think you have paved a really nice path for the person that we're appointing today, who we'll soon announce in coming days. But you've paved a really good pathway for them to hit the ground running, knowing the energy that this new term of council is giving to their role as the councillors for this term of Maranoa Regional Council. And I want to thank you for that. And we do truly appreciate the work that you have done and you'll continue to do in leading our organisation. Mayor Taylor, it will be exciting when the opportunity, once you've finalised all the points that are in this resolution, it will be exciting for you to make that announcement to our community, and I'm sure they will be happy with the decision that we've made in who is going to lead our organisation organisationally for the next term of council.
Thank you. With that, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0.
Now,
We're going to move on to 10.1.
I'll move that lays on the table.
All those in favour? 9-0.
That was lay on the table to later in the meeting,
Yeah,
of course.
okay,
Yep.
sorry. 11.1. Monthly financial report as of the 31st of May 2024. Do I have a question? Yep.
No, it's all right. I was moving. Sorry.
Joe, can I have some of that, please? Is that all right? Thank you.
Just get back on track now, so.
Morning. We have Councillor Vincent has a question.
I've just got 3 questions. Will I do them all at one after each other? Is that easy?
You can have them at once.
Speaking to the
Wanna
mic.
put the
John,
microphone a bit
just push
closer
the
to you?
mic to Jane, can you?
In the employee benefits, so we're $4 million more for the same time the previous year. Is that right? Am I reading that right? In the operating budget, income and expenditure? Year to-
2.
Yes, yeah.
That'd be right, councillor. Yes.
Yep. Is that
There's
just,
some end of year adjustments to be made that will make a difference to that, where it goes up or down. There's also some capitalisation costs that need to be done. We're estimating at the moment it's approximately about $2 million yet to be done to tidy up for end of year purposes. So there is some end of year stuff, and obviously this is May, so you've still got June to go as well too.
This
so,
is the May actuals though.
yes. Yes. So there's some adjustments that need to be made as at end of year for end of year purposes.
So we'll see that change in June.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
There was some additional.
As in go down,
Beg your pardon.
as
Sorry.
in go down.
Well, it depends on where for example, if annual leave goes up, then we would expect that the expense will go up. If the annual leave accrual goes down, then we expect that the wages will reduce. Also, there's some adjustments with regards to capitalisation of wages, which is normally happening. And as I was saying, that should reduce it by at least about $2 million, we're estimating at this particular point in time.
Okay.
Sorry,
Sorry.
can
Hang on,
I do
James.
another one, but just on
James.
capitalisation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just on that.
Oh, sorry.
Because I don't understand. So when you say capitalisation, is that when we're pulling out wages that have gone to a capital project and
Correct.
okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure I understood that.
Yes.
Sorry.
Sorry. Normally, what would be done is you'd actually have a separate line that would be a negative, which would identify what that capitalisation is. We just don't follow that process here at the moment. That's all. So, but that's part of the process anyway.
And my other question was around the Acadia Valley upgrade works. There's no budget, no grant received. I do know,
Sorry, Jane, what page you on?
87.
Oh, yeah, got it.
I know there was a budgeted amount for that. I've seen it previously, and I thought there was some money spent on, obviously, design or planning, but now it's just reverted to zero.
Yes, it's through. Yeah, so through the chair, councillor, Acadia Valley was flagged to be delivered in the following financial year. So the funds are essentially sitting in the 24-25 financial year, and that. So we've still got the federal government funding plus contributions from industry as well there. So yeah, it's definitely still committed to $6.8 million project, and that it's sitting in the 24-25 financial year.
So the design, the money that was spent on design and stuff, it just disappeared, like
It's
not
probably
disappeared, but sits back in some other budget.
It'll probably be sitting in the operational cost at the moment because it designs operational cost until the project is delivered and that. So it'll be moved back into the capital. So, but no, definitely if you're sort of concerned about it, that Acadia Valley's still committed to, we've got signed funding agreements and that sort of stuff. So, yep.
Saving your bacon there.
I knew it was in 24-25. Yeah.
Is that it, councillor?
Yes, thank you.
Yep. Anybody else got questions? Councillor Hancock.
I do have a question. Just with the, because obviously this is the May financial reports, but the June ones, will we be given the June ones in July as normal, even though it's just part of the end of the year, end of financial year budget, annual report?
Yes, you will be given a draft June report in July. However, there will be some finalised reports that will be provided to council as part of the wrap up for end of financial year purposes in October, which will coincide when the financial statements get signed off.
Sure, because I know we always talk about fags. It's
Yes.
a question every meeting. And so, like, we're in negative at the moment. The actual is negative 15.811 million.
Yes,
So that's at the end of May.
yes.
What are we proposing for the end of June?
Yeah, so I've done a little bit of a calculation based on our forecast. We're saying, at the moment it'll be hopefully, depending on what some workarounds with regards to some adjustments such as the capitalisation of wages. We're saying approximately around about 12. That's what I'm suggesting, but
Negative 12
negative.
or so? Yeah, negative.
Yeah.
Yep, righto. Yep, so that's fine. Just so, I
I-
was just wondering about that. 'cause
Just,
that fags
just to
did
lead
come
on
in.
from that, I've done a quick reconciliation on cash. If off the top of my head, I think we budgeted that we were going to finish at about 76 million, I think. We're sitting on about 100, just with some changes around the fags not coming in on a timely basis and some CapEx, etc. We're sort of in the ballpark of around about 100 mil at the end of the year. So hopefully that, so I think that's a pertinent point to raise to council to have a close look at when the June report comes in.
Perfect. That was actually into my next question.
Oh, no.
So it's about the cash expense coverage ratio. Acting CEO Cam, it's great to have this in here, but
Yes.
what would be really beneficial for me is, it's all good to have the 101.3 million in here, but I think it would be nice to know how much of that is actually reserved,
Yep. Yeah.
because that's
Restricted.
It's restricted cash, so it looks fantastic.
Yep.
It looks like we're very wealthy, but actually a big proportion of that is restricted cash.
Yep.
So in our reporting, I'd like to be able to see the breakdown of that, if that's possible,
Understood.
please.
Yep.
You want to see that monthly too? Is that what
Well,
you're
in these
suggesting?
reports, I think
Yep.
would be
Yep.
good. Thank you.
Anyone else got a question?
Just total figures of what what's restricted and what's not.
Yep.
I've got a question. I'm on page 96, under the quarry. I'm just wanting to know what the finance costs are when we've budgeted for it, but we haven't spent it. So what did we think we were going to do?
Just through the chair, this is, and I'll just double check with the finance manager, but I think I'm right in saying this, that this is in relation to the rehab provisions, that they pick that up as part of, they split it between the movement of the volume comes through as part of the materials and services, but the change in the discount rate comes through as part of the finance costs. It's might be worthwhile talking about it as separately to outside of the meeting, but I believe that's what it actually relates to. It doesn't relate to any borrowings or anything along those lines.
Okay. So,
when we do the adjustments for the rehabilitation of the site, that will be picked up as part of the end of year adjustments. Which the finance, she's not here at the moment because she's actually working on end of year now as we speak.
okay, I still don't really understand, but
Provide you a bit more detail.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Happy to provide
thank
that.
you.
Yep.
And I've just got one more on airports.
Yep.
I'm just looking at on page 94, the employees' costs. There's a big difference between what's budgeted and what is actual. Is there any reason for that?
So the current budget for employee costs is 597, and the year-to-date actual is 587. Is that the number you're referring to there?
Yeah, but the year-to-date budget was 551. Like for May, I would assume.
Yes.
So you're going to go over budget, whichever way you look at it, because you've got this month to go.
If I can just take that on notice and come back to you
Okay.
through soon as
I've
we
got
can.
one on airports too.
Go if you like.
Have you got any more on airport?
No, that's good.
Also, Eric, on materials and services, the year-to-date budget was 732 and the actual is 579. What is the reduction of 152,000?
I do know that the manager, and I think he may have articulated this to the council previously around some one-off improvements for the airport. I think off the top of my head, one was around cleaning, if I remember correctly. But I do know, and I have had a conversation around the global, some of those improvements, because his number is so much better than what has been budgeted for. But what he's saying is they're basically one-offs, they're not sustainable. So I'd have to ask the manager to provide a bit more information.
Lease or something, vehicle leases of equipment or something as well.
Yeah.
It was asked at a previous
It was asked
meeting.
in a budget workshop, not at a formal council meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't.
And it should be tabled here.
Yep.
But we never got a breakdown of what exactly that 152,817 was.
Yep, happy to provide that information.
Yeah.
If I could just take that on notice and circulate that later.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Yep.
Just
Okay.
I've got
Anybody else got questions?
an airport.
Before you go.
Just follow on airport
Councillor
one.
Hancock.
With the contractors that are out there, is that come out of, that would be out of materials and services?
That's correct, yes.
Yep, thank you.
Anybody got anything else? Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Brompton.
I move that council receive and note the monthly financial report for the period ended 31st of May 2024.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Vincent. All those in favour? 9-0. Just note that Councillor Flynn is leaving the meeting for a while.
Do you want to?
We might. Yeah? Okay, we might break for morning tea. See you back at 11. I'll reopen the meeting at 11:01, and we'll move on to 14.1, which is development application material change of use indoor sport and recreation and outdoor sport and recreation, 136 to 142 McDowell Street and 2 to 4 Spencer Street and 7 Feather Street, Roma, reference 2024/21071. Anyone got any questions for the officers?
Why are we doing it?
Why are you doing the application?
Why the changes though? Is this to include the other, like Feather Street, to take in the account the development for the pool?
Yes.
Right.
So it's intensifying the use and it's, establishing the use on lots that weren't previously used as the pool.
And because of the broader footprint now, because of the purchase? Yeah.
And it covers the moving of the house?
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
I'm happy to move.
Councillor Vincent?
Just in point 2, the approval development is over 2 stages. Will this affect anything if it's only done in one stage?
Yeah, so thanks, councillors. The team obviously got Lucy here, Dean here, but we did discuss this with Kate, and this is to keep it moving. Ultimately, the decision around the staging will be something that once we get some tenders, some pricing, that can be something that council considers at that point. So it was exactly that exact question was asked to Kate, just around there is an opportunity to do an amendment if council decide to do it in one stage, and that's it.
So on that point, if I can, would it not be prudent to say the approval development is over one stage or two stages?
So from a planning perspective, when something is approved in stages, that doesn't prevent, there's nothing in the conditions that stops the developer coming in and doing it all as one. What it does do is if we didn't have that condition saying it's in stages and then you did want to stage it, then you are coming and changing the condition.
This is a better outcome.
Yes.
It gives more flexibility.
Yeah. You'd only have a problem if you then wanted to do it in 3 stages, realistically. Yeah.
Councillor O'Neill.
I'm happy to move the development application for a material change of use for outdoor sport and recreation and indoor sport and recreation located at 136 to 142 McDowell Street, 2 to 4 Spencer Street and 7 Feather Street, Roma, described as lots 21 and 30 on R8610, lots 1 and 2 on RP123777 and lot 2 on SP178378 be approved subject to the listed conditions and general advice.
Have a seconder, Councillor Burkett. Anyone like to speak?
Yeah,
Want to speak?
I'm just making sure. Do you want me to say 1 through to blah, and what have we decided we do on that now? Is that captured as listed?
Yeah,
General
you said-
advice as listed?
It says subject to the listed conditions.
Oh, general advice. Okay, yep.
Okay. Anyone would you like to speak?
Yeah, thanks very much. Obviously, this relates to the overall project the council wants to undertake in terms of the Roma Denise Spencer Pool. It's an exciting project, a generational project for our entire region, and clearly this is getting our ducks aligned. So when we're in a position to be able to hit go, we're ready to do so. And we'll keep the community informed as we take the steps forward in delivering this project for our community.
Anyone like to speak against? Anyone for? Going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Thank you, ladies. 14.2. Injune Cricket Association Incorporated User Agreement, Steve Murray Sports Oval Injune.
I've just got a conflict.
Okay, sorry. Yep.
like to declare a conflict on item 14.2 for the Indian Cricket Association Incorporated user agreement, Steve Murray, it's just a Steve Murray Oval Injune, sorry, that's fine. The declaring councillor is Jane Vincent. Person with interest is Matthew Bidgood, who is a close family friend. Matthew is listed as the president of the Injune Cricket Club, and it's a declarable conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted
I
on.
think you'd like to put sports in there because it's in the
Oh,
sub. You
sorry,
just have to put sports
Steve
in.
Murray Sports Oval.
Is it not
Thank-
called that?
Thank you, councillor. Anyone else have a conflict? Councillor Vincent's leaving the room. Councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move that Council 1 enter in an agreement with the Indian Cricket Association Incorporated for a period of 5 years. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to execute the user agreement with the Indian Cricket Association Incorporated.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Searoy.
Just through the chair, dot point number 2, councillors, would it be okay just with minor amendments? We've just noticed this morning we've just got the incorrect entity referenced in the draft document in front of you. It just says Roma Touch as opposed to the correct one. So obviously we produce these quite frequently, so it was just raised to me this morning that there's just a typographic error there. So if council were happy with minor amendments,
No problem.
I have one quick question.
Yes.
Through the chair, it's exactly the same as what they previously entered in. Yeah. Thanks.
Would the mover like to speak?
Oh, just to say that it's great to see cricket alive and well. It seems to be a bit dying off, so I hope this can rejuvenate everyone in the surrounding areas, namely my hometown, to get a cricket team back and going. So, look forward to seeing them.
Anyone against? Anyone else like to speak? Going to go to the vote? 7-0.
Mayor, one job.
He jumped up before.
I know he's
too
sprightly,
quick.
young fella.
Okay, we've got 14.3, Roma Rural Student Hostel option to review. Councillor Taylor, that'll be me. I've got a conflict of interest in 14.3, Roma's Rural Student Hostel option to renew. Declaring councillor as myself, Councillor Wendy Taylor. The person of interest in myself, I'm a committee member of the Roma Rural Student Hostel. It's a prescribed conflict of interest, so I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on. Councillor O'Neill.
I too would like to declare a conflict of interest on item 14.3, the description being Roma Rural Student Hostel option to renew. The declaring councillor is Councillor Cameron O'Neill. The person with the interest is myself. Particulars of the interest, I am a committee member of the Roma Rural Student Hostel. The type of conflict is a prescribed conflict of interest, and the action I'll take is leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
So we've had the mayor and deputy mayor leave the room. Essentially, we need to discuss appointing a chair for this meeting to be able to continue. So that'll be just something that I just gauge the room. Is there anyone wish to nominate for a chair to keep presiding over the meeting?
I'll nominate Councillor Hancock.
Yeah.
So Councillor Burkett and a seconder. Councillor Vincent. So Councillor Hancock, you're right to continue.
All those in favour.
Oh, sorry. Yep. Just we just have to take a vote on that. All those in favour? 6-0. Thank you.
Okay, item number 14.3, Roma Rural Student Hostel option to renew. Do we have any questions?
Oh, no, I'll move, yeah.
Officers, do you have anything you wish to inform me?
This is just, oh sorry, This is just exercising their option to extend. There's nothing new in the contract or anything like that.
No, nothing new.
Thank you.
Perfect. Do we have a mover? Councillor Brompton?
I'll move that Council 1 approve the extension of the Roma Rural Student Hostel Management Agreement for a further 10-year term until 31st of May 2034 in accordance with Clause 5.2 of the Management Agreement. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to execute documents relating to the extension.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Vincent. All those in favour?
Oh, speak.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Would anyone like to speak?
I don't think it needs, I don't need to speak to it unless anyone else wants
Anyone else
to.
would like to speak? Okay. All those in favour? 6-0. Thank you.
Who got in the chair?
Councillor Wall, did you? I was going to write little notes for you.
You weren't going to set the alarm off. Okay, that was 14.3. What are we doing now?
Go back to 10 point.
We're going to go back to 10.1? 10.1, page 71.
How's Jerry there?
10.1, Roma Sale Yards Charity Sale Days. Do we have any questions for
Conflicts.
the General
Those
Manager?
conflicts.
Yep.
Conflicts.
Oh, we've got conflicts. Sorry, I forgot about that. Councillor Brompton.
Item is 10.1, description Roma Sale Yards Charity Sale Days. The declaring councillor is myself, Councillor Brompton. The person with the interest related party is myself and my husband Robert. Particulars of interest, we are beef cattle producers and sell cattle through the Roma Sale Yards. Type of conflict, declarable conflict of interest. Action, although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Councillor Davis.
Thank you. I move that it
Can we
is in...
can we just get an idea of who's left, who's declaring on this matter? Just
Oh, yeah.
So we know
well,
who
I'm
can vote.
declaring.
What did we say yesterday? 6.
1,
it's
2.
Councillor Davis and myself that aren't. Yeah, okay,
I
thank
can
you.
vote, yes.
Thank you. I'll move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Brompton participates and votes on agenda item 10.1 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Councillor O'Neill. All those in favour? 2. Moving on. Tell me. 10.1, Roma's description, Roma Sale Yards Charity Sales Day. The declaring councillor is Councillor Wendy Taylor. The person of interest, Leahy Proprietary, of which I'm a director of, sells cattle at the sale yards. Particulars of interest, Leahy Proprietary Limited sell cattle to the sale yards. It's a declarable conflict of interest, and although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have the perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting onto whether I can remain and participate in the decision. Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Taylor participates and votes on agenda item 10.1 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Seconder, Councillor Davis. All those in favour? 2.
2-0.
2-0, sorry. Councillor Vincent.
The item is 10.1. The description is Roma Sale Yards Charity Sale Days. The declaring councillor is myself, Councillor Jane Vincent. The person with the interest is myself and my husband Dane Vincent, trading as D&J Vincent Proprietary Limited. Particulars are we buy and sell cattle at the Roma Sale Yards, and it is declarable conflict of interest. Although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Councillor Davis.
I move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Vincent participates and votes on agenda item 10.1 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Seconder, Councillor O'Neill. All those in favour? 2-0.
I'd like to
Councillor
say conflict of
Searock.
interest on item 10.1. Roma Sale Yard Charity Sale Days. Councillor concerned is myself, declaring. Persons of interest is myself and my wife Chris, and Seawright Trading is BR and KM Seawright. We buy, particulars of interest is that we buy and sell cattle at the Roma Sale Yards. The type of conflict is it's a declarable conflict of interest, and I will choose, although I will choose to remain. Although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting and whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Seawright participates and votes on agenda item 10.1 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Seconded Councillor Davis. All those in favour? 2-0.
Yeah, really do.
Councillor Hancock.
Here we go.
I'd like to declare an interest, item 10.1, description Roma Sale Yards Charity Sale Days. Declaring councillors, Councillor Joanne Hancock. Person with interest is GL and JM Hancock. Can you get rid of that bit in brackets, please? My husband and myself, Nicholas and Stephanie Hancock, son and daughter-in-law, Peter and Karen Hancock, brother and sister-in-law, and business partners. All parties above whom I have a close association with buy and sell cattle at the Roma Sale Yards. It's a declarable conflict of interest, and my action is, although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Councillor Davis.
Thank you. I'd like to move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Hancock participates and votes on agenda item 10.1 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Second, Councillor O'Neill. All those in favour? 2-0. Councillor Burkett.
I can declare a conflict of interest on item 10.1, Roma Sale Yards Charity Sale Days. Declaring councillors myself. Person with the interest is my parents, Gary and Julie Burkett. Particulars of the interest, we are beef cattle producers. Oh, it's a bit flash. And sell cattle through the Roma Sale Yards. Type of conflict is a declarable. The action, although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Councillor Burkett, can I just ask, sorry, Nikita, if you can go back up, please. Just is that, it's Gary and Julie, is it yourself and Gary and Julie to create?
Well, it's all in his name, so.
Oh, what's the we then?
That, I didn't know, sorry, this, Nikita just probably cut and pasted the
I
others.
see.
It's
So
not, yeah, just they, yeah.
My parents.
So good pickup, yeah.
Yep.
We don't usually have that flash cattle producer bit in there.
Wow, there you
Councillor O'Neill.
I'd like to move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Burkett participates and votes on agenda item 10.1 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Seconded by Councillor Davis. All those in favour? 2-0. Oh, back to 10.1. Anybody have any questions for Daniel? Councillor Vincent.
I just know that RFDS have got their day down for July. Have they stipulated a day yet?
Talking to Bruce Scott, he's keen to do it as soon as possible. So in reality, it would be end of July, but I've left it as a date in 2004 to give that flexibility if there is if we can't get it in place in time.
Councillor O'Neill.
I was going to raise that exact point. It's very tight. Like there's been no advertising.
That's so I'm happy to work with RFDS, and that was my first comment when so that's purely driven from RFDS's side.
Because they want to hit the straps.
In our policy, it actually says provide a marketing campaign proposal to council, which is to be agreed to by council no later than 4 weeks prior to the charity sale days. Our policy.
Yeah, so I can work with Bruce, and when if this gets through today, I can stipulate that we'll need that plan and for 4 weeks is our earliest day.
I've just got a question. So it's those two, which is 50,000. Is that in your budget?
Yes.
It is.
Yep.
Under what exactly, Daniel?
That will come under materials and services.
Okay. All right, anybody else got questions?
Well, I guess I'm just probably a little bit confused, Daniel. I understand the report's coming to council because I thought that the reason it's got to come to council is because we've got to okay the date, yet we don't have the date. So why are we? Why is it here today? Like, why couldn't we? Once we get the date, then it comes to council. Am I reading that wrong? I'm just trying to look at the policy.
So in the policy, it was that it must come to council just for final approval.
For the date?
If it was for the date, I apologise for that one.
No, I don't know. I'm just having a quick look.
So Life Flight and RFDS were, they've indicated a month, but they haven't indicated an exact date. And that was dependent on their staffing ability to get closer to the time to make sure they had a presence on the day.
Because in actual fact, we've already said yes to these in
That's
principle,
right. That's
haven't
what
we?
That's right.
Yeah, so through the chair, Daniel raised this one with me and we were obviously just trying to, the policy's in place. We were going to make a call ourselves, but the policy's quite clear that it does have to come through council for it. It's improved in the budget, so one could argue that it's implied that it is approved, but the policy, the way it was written, I probably just didn't quite feel it goes far enough to say if it's approved in the budget, it's essentially approved. So it was more just formalising the policy. It's probably something we'll look at as part of a policy revision and that sort of thing in the future. But I did, me and Daniel discussed this specifically, and I just felt, we previously brought them to council. I didn't want to just assume because it's in the budget that it was okay.
In 3.5 it says the request and date of the charity sale day will be approved by council and the aeromedical organisation advised accordingly. Promotion of the event will commence after the request is approved and date confirmed. So if we were to approve this today, it would still have to come back according to the policy with the actual date.
I just wonder then, how about we lay this on the table till later in the meeting, and that might afford the manager the opportunity to reach out to RFDS to see if there is a date in August.
Yes, yep.
Because we'd have to agree in July because it would be against the policy to have that 4-week lead-in time. But we don't know any of that until the conversation. So I'll move we lay this on the table till later in the meeting.
All those in favour? 8-0.
You right with that, mate?
Thank you. Good.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.
You got the late?
Yep.
Only again. I've got another conflict when we.
L1, applications through the Regional Arts Development Fund, RADF Program 2023-24. Councillor
Got
Vincent.
a conflict.
Oh, again.
Sorry, yes.
You're busy today. Councillor.
Item 11.1, applications through Regional Arts Development Fund, RADF Program 2023-24, declaring councillor is myself. The person with interest is my sister-in-law, Fiona Vincent. Fiona is the Secretary of the Bymount Community Recreation Association, which is mentioned in the report. It is a declarable conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted.
Just on, there's no list of other, are these the only two, like usually?
But we can't talk about that until January.
No, yeah, no, just in case there's any other conflicts.
They're the only two applications.
That's it, yeah.
Because remember we do it ad hoc now, like as applications come in, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not round.
Okay, we have a move, Councillor Hancock.
I move that council endorse the RADF committee's grant assessment recommendations in supporting the following applications. 1, Bymount Community Recreation Association for $13,000 as received in their application on 19 June 2024. 2, Stratton District Development Association for $8,320 as received in their application on 27 June 2024.
Have a seconder, Councillor Brompton. Would you like to speak, Councillor Hancock?
Just to say, Madam Mayor, that it is fantastic that we've had, once again, these two applications come through and that we have been able to expend our grants and our funding for the first time giving to the community, for many years that we've been able to expend it, and really giving back to valuable community workshops that will leave, what's the word? Will
Legacy?
leave, sorry?
Legacy?
Yeah, legacy in the community, like it leaves value to the community, it just doesn't come and go. Really support these applications, and hopefully if they get up today, I'll look forward to seeing the end result of them.
Got a question.
Forgot to say hello. Hello, Tania. Yes.
I've got a question through the chair, maybe to Councillor Hancock.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us the projects,
Yeah, I can.
please?
So the Biomount Community Recreation Association project, it is, they're wanting to do workshops on building sculptures, and then from that workshop, they will then workshop a sculpture to have out front of the Biomount Hall.
A big sculpture.
A big
All right.
sculpture. So it's on the we love this project. The committee loves this project because it's just community wanting to partner with council and using RIDF funding to be able to get a sculpture out the front of their Biomount Hall, but they're actually workshopping it. They're doing it as part of the workshop. So it's a fantastic project. The other one is for the Strait Development Association for reviving the roots of reality TV. That is actually going to be a different sort of arts and culture. It's about singing and performing at the festival, and it's about there's going to be many workshops at the festival, and they've got the people who are coming and performing. They're going to workshop with the community. There's people already got their names down wanting to do that, and then they're going to go take them onto the stage and do like an open mic and have them perform in front of the community. Oh, and so it was a different sort of arts and culture that we were giving to the community, and that's why the committee decided to support it, because it was really nice to see that different sort. Knowing that, yes, that we have expended our budget, I'll acknowledge that, but we have got grants for our next budget that is coming in, and the committee already has a strategy going forward of how they're going to be spending the next lot of grant money. The last lot of grant money, we did do a lot of strategic projects throughout the community ourselves. We did hat making, we did fascinator making, we did photography workshops, we did lots of that stuff to try and take some pressure off the volunteers. Now that our community is really getting on board with being able to do these applications themselves, the committee is like, okay, we're going to pull back a little bit and give that opportunity to the community. And so the RIDF committee has been working really hard, and it's been really exciting to be part of. But that's our explanation of where our budget sits.
Tania, I did make reference that you weren't under budget when I was in the... That's what you're going on about. Happy that you've spent all the money, etc., but just noticed it was in red for a little while. Anyone else like to speak against? For? Okay, let's go to the vote. All those in favour? How many have I got now? 7-0? Thank you. Thank you, Tennille.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you, Tennille. Thank you.
L2, Maranoa Road Grid Safety Project. Do we have a mover?
I have questions. My question is this resolution in line with our policy that the grids are meant to be paid for by the property owners? Or are we going outside of our policy?
Through the chair, the policy states that we've had to, the grid is maintained and paid for by the property owner. This is an improvement project where we'd like to achieve a safety outcome. It actually sits outside the grid policy, but I reference it just so you would be aware of what our contribution is. There's a definite safety benefit by widening the grid. The landowners brought to us this issue, and I'd like to spend the money to
get an immediate safety, short-term and long-term safety outcome for the road.
From reading the report, Bart, is the money that we're spending on upgrading the road out there, is it actually taking in this grid? Because in the report it sort of reads that it's separate from the grid. It's a different area.
Through the chair, yeah, that's correct, Councillor Hancock. The upgrade is about 3.5 k's away. It's further up the road, but we anticipate additional traffic to come by that particular grid in future years. So we think this is a proactive approach to address the issue.
How did the grid, because I've heard from the community, the grids are already there. So it was going to go ahead with or without approval? Like, how did the grid get there before it's come to the table?
Yeah, just identified in the risks, Councillor Hancock, there was an over-order of a grid through the betterment project. That grid is now available and it's on site. So the contractor at the time, the landowner actually knew that the grid was there and approached the contractor to see if they could purchase the grid. Then they approached us to see if we would make a contribution.
Okay.
So is the picture we have here, is that the old grid?
That's the old grid, yeah.
That's not a grid.
And my next question I have, and it might not be for this report, but I do notice, I'm just trying to get the right terminology, that this road is a local road of regional significance. How did that get to be a local road of regional significance? And is there other opportunity in the area for other roads to become that? For instance, when I think about that road to the Tealbar Road, when there's a school on there, how did that get to be that road? And is there opportunity to add other roads to that?
Yeah, yep. So through the chair, if I could break that question down, is there opportunity to add to it? Absolutely. Local roads of regional significance are like, they're a highest order road, but they are approved through the regional road group. It's not just council determines these are local roads of regional significance and we adopt it. It does have to be approved through the regional road group. The one big thing with local roads of regional significance is it does open up your ability to put TIDS funding on it. You can't put TIDS funding on roads that aren't local roads of regional significance. There is about 5 or 6 categories that if it meets the criteria, it's a local road of regional significance. So there'd be nothing stopping council. We would normally do a review of local roads of regional significance as part of our TIDS report, probably later, and that's where council will either reaffirm or decide to change roads. I'm pretty sure, I think Tealbar Road is already a local road of regional significance, but at the back end of this meeting, we can just circulate, here's the current network of local roads of regional significance and that. So, but yeah, so sum that up, yes, you can make changes. Council needs to endorse the change for it to then go to the road group to formalise. In all honesty, I haven't seen one where it's been knocked back, but that is the process to actually get it formally recognised as local road and that sort of thing.
Can I just add to that, CEO? Councillor Hancock, the traffic count further up the road is actually much higher. It's actually sitting around 89 vehicles per day, sort of near the Kincora end. So it could equate to why why that road is actually a Lars road. It's carrying so much traffic.
That's closer to Surat.
Correct.
Yeah, not up where all the works are getting done.
No, that's right.
Because they don't go up that far, they go back this
that's
other
correct.
way.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's right. And my next question, while I'm at it, is the grid was, so we're doing works 3 k's away or something, but this particular grid had been, council has identified that it was a safety issue, and so we were going to replace that grid anyway. Is that the story behind this? And now the community person would like to make it a double grid. Is that how this has all come about?
No, I wouldn't say it that way, because we weren't quite aware of all the safety issues that were associated with the grid, because that particular landowner is actually living there and identified those issues to us. We hadn't had any reports of any issues prior to that. There's no documented, but of course probably our network inspector would have identified potentially just anecdotally that it is an issue. But so this is a landowner-driven project to say, look, there's an issue there. He'd like to see it. They would like to see it widened out, just to minimise that risk moving forward.
And so it's not. So is it going to be then done as part of the betterment works, all in one, and that'll save us money? Is that why we're doing it now, or is it a separate project?
Definitely a separate project. Definitely.
So it's a separate
yeah.
project. So when, in your opinion, then, when you think about all the grids through the, well, I know you can only speak about the Wurroo, and would it be one of the grids that would it be the worst safety grid?
As it became highlighted to me, I don't, and in my technical opinion for my roads, I don't like to see grids, 4 metre grids on curves, because I think they do raise particular issues with heavy vehicles lining up properly to them. And so it's in my opinion, and my best technical opinion, that I think we should try to, where possible on curves, widen out to 8 metres, because it's just a proactive safety treatment. I think I've found a lot of other grids. There's one on particular Kincora Road that we're looking at as well, that's on a curve, that's been brought to us by a landowner, that we'd like to look at to improve as well.
And Councillor Vincent, are you finished?
Yeah, I'm happy to move when after
Councillor
questions.
Vincent?
Yeah, so just in point 5 in the report, you've got this location associated infrastructure will need to be upgraded in the future as council continues its long-term strategic plan. So how many years away are we from that grid being either shifted or requiring upgrading again?
Yeah, Councillor Vincent, the officers are just highlighting that the future vision for large roads, or this road in particular, would be bitumen. If I was to be brutally honest, it will be quite a long time before council, like we're doing 10K there at the moment under a betterment project. There's probably a lot more other roads. If it wasn't for the betterment project, we wouldn't be doing the 10K in that location, but there was funding available. We would have been handing it back if we didn't. So I don't have an exact time, but I think even this, to be quite fair, this room would dictate that time frame a little bit, and there would be a lot more roads, even down in Surat or whatever, where you'd start to extend bitumen more so than that. Given that Maranoa's got 10K this year, Yilbar Surat, Ashmount Road, Tomby Road, Tealbar Road, there's just, so short answer is I couldn't see within, at the very least, 5+ years before that road would get significant amount of bitumen investment.
Probably my follow-on question from that, thanks CEO Cam, is there's no pricing, like I know council as per the policy does the install, the additional work that will be required to make that approach wider, and to add the extra shoulder work and all that sort of stuff, like the pricing for that.
Yeah.
Like that'll also come out of that budget.
That's correct.
Consideration.
That is correct. Yeah, it's just standard in the policy. If there's improvements to grids, or we require a landowner to upgrade a grid, replace a grid, then council bears the cost of the install.
Who am I up to? Councillor Davis.
Thank you. So Matt, just trying to, Director Matt, just trying to get the time frame right. So a contractor had a leftover grid, the property owners offered to buy it. Where did we arrive that the grid is $10,000 if we're contributing 50? It's not in their letter.
No, I left out the...
50%, sorry, so $5,000.
Yeah, so it is the landowner's purchase. I chose to leave those details out, but I can advise council that it's an affordable grid. It was on site. The contractor's willing to release it to us, to the landowner, at an affordable price, and I'm comfortable with the price we're paying to invest in that grid, to put it in.
So who will we be paying $5,000 to?
That's a great question. I think we'd probably approach the contractor and say, here's our contribution.
And we've used these grids before in the contractor?
We generally would like to buy local as much as we can, but this grid is available. It's a grid that does sort of sit outside. It's a sort of a grid we do use on the council road networks, but again, it's the landowner's choice to buy this particular grid, so we're just partnering with him with it.
Yeah, and it's our choice if we're going to contribute. So
That's right.
You've had of no issues with this type of grid or
No, it's fully compliant for the road network we want to use it on.
Councillor Brompton.
Thanks, Director Matt. I just want to circle back to one of the original questions, and it was around, you said this policy doesn't really apply because it's a safety thing. I can't read anywhere where this policy doesn't apply because 5.9 says for safety.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm asking this question is about equity for other landholders, because even under 5.10, if we were upgrading the road, we were going to ask an owner to supply the grid. So I'm just wanting to clarify, is this equitable to what other landholders have been asked to do or not do? Because it doesn't appear to me to be what the policy indicates.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Brompton. I was probably going to jump back, but I knew everyone had their questions before. This, in a nutshell, if we were to sort of unpack it, there's a grid there, a 4 metre grid. This resident could go, normally there'd be an obligation under the policy to replace the 4 metre grid, and that they could go and replace that 4 metre grid as per the policy. What's been identified is an opportunity. They don't need to go out to 8 metres. Technically, it meets the policy. They can just put a 4 metre grid in and everything is done. Probably what the director was saying there, falling outside the policy. It's sort of not outside the policy, but it's also not a requirement of the policy that landowner puts in an 8 metre grid. We've just identified an opportunity to put in an 8 metre grid while the landowner was going to put a 4 metre grid in, and are presenting council. You're not obliged to do it, but I personally think this is a good opportunity when you've got a landowner putting in a 4 metre grid on a location like this. Council can partner with this landowner and say it's over and above what's required by policy, but we're just essentially presenting an option that is not explicitly in the policy. We can't just approve it because it would be in conflict with the policy.
So that's why I was asking the equity question. Are other people treated equitably around this? And, why would, that's what I'm trying to...
From an equity point of view, we wouldn't get many landowners that would probably come to us and want wider grids. If they did, it would be a matter for council to consider. I think there's genuine criteria here. It is on a bend, it's on a large road that would say council could say no to another resident that's on a lowest order road, wants to go from a 4 metre grid to an 8 metre grid. I don't think a decision today would bind council to having to do this indefinitely. There is some reasons behind this recommendation, but that's
It's just reading 5.10, it said if we wanted to upgrade the road and it had to be upgraded, the owner was going to be responsible.
That's right.
So that's why I'm saying this seems to be, like the policy says, even if we decide we're upgrading the road, the owner's still responsible for the grid. That's what the policy actually says.
Yeah, and under the criteria, through the chair, like the landowner doesn't have to upgrade the grid unless it's over 20 vehicles a day. The traffic count is under 20 vehicles a day at the moment.
Yeah.
So there's no requirement for that landowner to upgrade the grid, but we'd like to partner with him just based on the safety fund. On a case-by-case basis, we'd like to partner with him.
I don't know, I'm not saying that, I'm just wanting to make sure everyone's treated the same around this stuff.
They have to upgrade if there's a safety issue in 5.9 too.
Yeah, it says they have to upgrade
many
if there's
cars?
a safety issue, and you've said it's a safety issue. It says the owner is, I'm just wondering why we're going outside of the policy.
I suppose just to answer two of them questions, 5.9 talks about a safety issue existing with the grid installation, not identified a safety issue. At the end of the day, if there's a safety issue on a road, council is the responsible party to manage that road network. So 5.9 is intended for this 4 metre grid that's in place at the moment, and you start losing rails off it. That is a genuine safety issue that the landowner is responsible. It's not an engineer goes out and assesses the road and says that grid's unsafe. It needs to be 4 grids in there to make it safe. So the safety issue is more related to an installation. These are good conversations. There's obviously there's obviously areas where people can interpret this differently. So any grid policy renewal, we'll need to have a look at to clarify some of these questions. I suppose the 5.10 question about does the landowner responsible for upgrading the grid themselves? They absolutely are. So if council was to do a road upgrade through there, they would be up to. The fact is not to 8 metres though. They're responsible for up to 4 metres. The 8 metres is purely a voluntary, we're trying to make it wider. We could just say not interested, it's 4 metres, but yeah, that's, so whilst it does say it would be, at the moment, section 5.10 would be only the expectation that a 4 metre grid goes in there, not an 8 metre. So it's essentially.
So Councillor O'Neill, then Councillor Burkett.
Just a question, then I'll make a point. But my question is just with the financial contribution coming from the Wuru Directorate Operations and Maintenance General Ledger. I know that would have reset as of the 1st of July. I just wonder in the financial part of the report going forward, Cam, can we just have what's in there?
Oh, understood. Current balance,
Yeah.
remaining balance. Yep.
That way we're making an informed decision that there's, the finance available. I mean, the point I just wanted to make, and I'll speak to the appropriate time, Mayor, but the request to me appears to be somewhat of betterment. Whilst it could be 4 metres, they've come to us to ask would we consider partnering to upgrade to 8 metres, and that's exactly what we are trying to do as a council to the state and Commonwealth in improving our road networks on other projects. So I think this would be a good example of that, but I'll speak to that at the time.
Councillor Burkett.
Director Matt, is the you said so these guys are going to do it while they're down the road, just down the road. So
No, separate
They're not-
project.
no, but we install the grid, so we'll be using those guys on site. I'm just thinking about.
Yeah, I'm getting costing through the chair. I'm just getting costings on that,
Right.
Councillor Burkett, but it's probably going to be cheaper for council to install.
Yeah, but just what I'm getting at is if there's machinery available down the road, 3.5K or something you said, wasn't it?
Correct.
Contractors.
Oh, yeah, but
It's not us.
council contractors?
Correct.
I'm just thinking, while they're there, even if we had to remobilise someone from a greater distance, it's going to be a bigger cost. That's what I was thinking of.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's all in there. It's just a quick move down the road, and it was just an opportunity
I agree.
the landowner saw and approached us. And again, this is a case by case basis, obviously through the policy. But I just wanted to present the opportunity to council. We thought it was a good road safety opportunity.
Yep, sounds
Councillor
good.
Hancock.
I'm not against it, but I have to be able to have my head around it because I've already had questions asked about it. And what I'm struggling with is a couple of things. The grids are already there. Councillor Davis said that who we paying, and it was like, well, maybe the contractor, because the contractor had oversupplied the grid. But then you just said that we're getting quotes from contractors, so we actually haven't engaged a contractor to put this in. I'm actually really confused about, have we purchased these grids for a project and then now it hasn't gone through council, so now we're partnering with the community, which I don't have a problem with, and it's betterment, and I think it's great. But those grids are there. Who owns them right now? Because if we haven't engaged a contractor to do it, because before you said that a contractor owned the grids, but is it not? Is it the property owner who owns the grids? Like, who owns those grids and how did they get there?
Yeah, so
Number
just
one point.
Councillor Hancock, the contractor for the betterment project had an oversupply of grids.
Because are they replacing grids further down?
Correct, in that project
Further down
area,
I just
yeah.
thought that was bitumening a road.
Yeah, there was a couple of grids to be replaced on that particular project. They made a clerical error and over-ordered on a grid. The grid is sitting there, ready to go. And so the landowner approached the contractor there to purchase that grid. So
those grids aren't sitting at this grid, they're sitting down at the other road.
just on site 3.5 k's down the road.
Okay.
That's right.
And so that's been oversupplied, so they do own those grids.
That's
But-
correct.
But we may or may not use those contractors. So those contractors will sell the grids either to the property owner,
Or whoever.
council,
Yep.
and then we will then engage either them or someone else, depending on pricing, to put those grids in.
That's correct.
Righto. Thank you. I just had to
Any
be
more
clear.
questions? Someone want to move? Oh, sorry.
I've got a question. Sorry if you're gonna, with someone else?
I had one, but
No, you go then. No.
so just the grids are there but not installed. We're not retrospectively doing this. I got confused then and thinking the grid's already been installed, but it hasn't been installed, they're just sitting there.
Correct.
Okay.
At another site. That's what I was just clarifying.
Through the chair, Cam, what's the most appropriate way to deal with this? Is it the landowner buys the grid and they raise an invoice against our contribution, or is it council to purchase the grid and council invoices the landowner for their contribution?
If you just give me 30 seconds, I'll just quickly. So the policy requires the council to supply the grid and grid components. So I think the cleanest way would be the landowner would deal with the contractor.
The owner of the grid?
The owner of the grid, that's a better terminology. It's
Yeah.
contractor, but not in the terms
Yeah.
of installing this. The owner of the grid to purchase it, drop them on site, and our policy would be implemented as per normal. Council goes and installs the grids.
But he's asking for 50% of the cost of the grid.
Yeah, normally in that instance, the policy does say supply of grid components is the responsibility of the owner. That would normally be an invoice to council.
From the property owner.
From the property owner. From the-
Seeking our 50% contribution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Rather than, it would get too messy otherwise. They're responsible for supplying the grid and grid components. They would do that and seek payment from council for whatever, if any, agreed amount. Otherwise, the grids go down there and council would install them, so.
Understood.
Councillor Vincent.
So just following on for that, for the mover, that maybe it's either 50% or total of 5,000, because I think they're going to be different amounts, going on a little bit of experience.
Right.
Like, I don't think
Accept the
50% of the bill will be 5,000.
Of the grid. Council funds the installation
On
of
top
the,
of.
Correct.
anyway.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
No, but
But if you look at the resolution up there, you've got to accept the offer from the landowner to contribute 50% towards the landowner grid purchase, and then fund the part purchase of the grid to the total of 5,000.
Well, how much is the grid?
10.
well, that would.
We don't know.
but
Where
that's-
the
that's
assumption is
the
10.
assumption
Oh,
is
it's in
10.
the
But we didn't know how much the grid is.
Yeah, so,
Well, you
but,
could Google it, you
okay,
wouldn't-
so is it, I'll
It's a good
start.
pickup.
Is it, I move that council, I'm happy to move something, then we can massage it.
Yep.
I move that council, 1, write to the landowner thanking them for the request. 2, accept the offer from landowner to contribute 50% towards the landowner's grid purchase and fund this from Waroo Directorate Operations and Management General Ledger, GL 0208 7.2017. That means that we're paying 50%. Oh, 50% or up to $5,000.
You got to
50% or up to $5,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, can I just ask a question? How difficult is it to go and inquire what the cost is for the 8-metre grid?
I move we lay this on the table to later in the meeting so that we can get some costings and
I have those
a new
costings.
resolution.
Oh, you've got them now?
I don't have them now, but I can provide them to you. I didn't.
We'll
yeah.
lay it on the table.
I've moved to lay it on the table,
All those in
to later in the
favour?
meeting.
8-0.
Thanks, council.
Can we just,
Thanks,
yeah,
mate.
we just need to get another resolution. Or to work out our costings and work out what our resolution's going to be.
Different resolution.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We're going to L3, Community Grants Round 2, 2023-24, Amendment of Project.
Thanks, Georgie.
Thanks, man. Does anybody have
Oh.
any questions?
I have a conflict of interest.
Would you like to declare it?
I would like to declare it.
You can do that now if you like. I'm glad Councillor Flynn's not in the room.
This is based on our very recent training as from yesterday.
When you're ready, councillor.
I'll go slow so I can work with Nikita. I'd like to declare a conflict on L3 community grants round to 2023 to 24, amendment of project. Declaring council as Councillor Joanne Hancock. Person with interest is Surat Post and News Proprietary Limited, which is, in brackets, husband and myself, directors, our directors. Particulars of interest, Surat Post and News has sponsored the Surat Diggers Race Day. Events has sponsored the director of, yep. Type conflict, declarable conflict of interest. And I use the other wording, Nikita. Although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Councillor Seawright.
I move that that is in the public interest that Councillor Hancock participates and votes on agenda item L3 because a reasonable person will trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Have a seconder? Councillor Vincent. All those in favour? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-0. Right, we can go now?
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions for Georgie? Somebody like to move? Councillor Hancock.
I move that Council 1 approve the project variation for Surat Diggers Race Club Inc. Major Grant Application Round 2, 2023 to 24. 2, allow Surat Diggers Race Club Inc. to install a fence. I want to add in there, Georgie, to install a fence including landscaping at the Roo Sporting Complex as outlined in their proposal, because in their proposal it includes the dirt.
Improved landscaping.
Landscaping, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I have a seconder? Councillor Davis, would you like to speak?
I would
Councillor
like to
Hancock?
speak. I would like to thank Officer Georgie for working with the Surat Diggers Race Club in being able to bring this back to the table. Excitingly, this is actually a good news story. The race club had applied for other funding as well as our funding, and they've been successful in getting other funding for their project. And so then have been able to come back to council to say we have received funding for our project, but we still have other projects that need to be done at the Roo Sporting Complex. One of the project that's what they've put up is to install the fence. It's actually moving the fence. There's an existing fence there that has to be put now on the other side of the canteen, and it's also to bring in the earthworks to be able to put around the canteen. I just want to thank them for having the foresight to be able to bring to council a project that is still a worthy project and is adding to the benefit of our facility that we own, and they're co-contributing to upgrading our facility. And so I think this is a great outcome for both community and council.
Anyone like to speak against? Anyone else like to speak for? Going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Thanks, Georgie.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
L4, Maranoa and Western Downs Regional Council collaboration. Councillor O'Neill.
I'm going to change this resolution just slightly, Nikita, so bear with me, please. I'll move that Council 1 approve the Mayor to write to Western Downs Regional Council seeking to establish an executive collaboration working group between the two councils. 2, give in principle support to the structure including. And then Nikita, if you go to page in the body of the report, there's a number. Have you got that?
Get it up, yeah.
Page 27, it is on the.
Might be able to get it quick.
I can read it for you. Oh, is it moving on your screen and not up there,
It's
Nikita? Oh,
there,
yeah.
yep. Is it just that wording?
No, sorry, it's sorry
further
on
down.
on page 27.
Yeah.
The next page of the report. Yeah, all
Mayor.
those dot points. There's 5 of them, please. Very good. So I'll just read that again too. Give in principle support to the structure, including Mayor, Deputy Mayor and CEO or delegate as core members. Meet twice yearly, alternating between regions. Meeting chair to be the host mayor. I just want to pick up the last dot point and make it the next one. Every second meeting to include. And it'll read, Nikita, every second meeting to include a full council session to help with networking and relationship building. And finally, establish a one-page terms of reference at the first meeting to ensure the focus is defined early and can guide future discussions.
Do you have a second, Dave? Councillor
Councillor O'Neill, can I propose an amendment?
Sure.
Every second meeting will be in the same location with whatever that falls on for the council. Can we just change that to annually meet? Because if we're alternating locations in every second location, it'd be that one region.
Or do you mean every second meeting at Maranoa to,
Meeting twice yearly.
Let's see, it would be, no, the intent is annually,
Yes.
all of us come together.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
different locations each time.
Well, it could
So
be.
we could share the, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we change the word help to promote?
Foster,
Yep, that's,
a full council session, so as in with both councils?
correct.
Yeah.
We probably need to, I didn't understand that either, the way that was written. To include,
every second, to invite all.
because we
yeah.
can't make the other council actually attend, can't we?
To meet
We understand the
annually.
intent.
Fourth.
It will read annually hold a full council session.
No.
No, no.
Down further, yeah,
That one?
Annually hold a full council session between both Maranoa Regional Council and Western Downs Regional Council to foster networking and relationship building.
Sorry, yeah, it just wasn't clear, I didn't understand what you were.
I'll second that with the amendment, thank you.
Seconded by Councillor Davis. Would you like to speak, Councillor O'Neill?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. I think this is a really good opportunity to rebuild what was once a really strong relationship between Maranoa Regional Council and Western Downs Regional Council. We obviously fall in the western end of the Surat Basin and have worked very closely together in the past, and I think we can again. both the Mayor and I had the opportunity to talk with the Mayor of Western Downs and the Deputy Mayor and CEO of Western Downs Regional Council while we were attending and representing our council at the Australian Local Government Conference last week. And we proposed proposed this idea that we do come together regularly to talk about, shared interests where we can work together across border. And, it's fair to say that both Andrew and Kylie and Jody, the CEO, jumped at the chance and thought that it would be wonderful for us to rekindle what was a really strong relationship in the past. And could see some, good outcomes of us just working together as neighbouring councils, big councils that have some unique challenges, and we deal with them together.
Someone like to speak against? For Councillor Davis.
Thank you. Can I just get rid of one word in the fourth dot point, with, to foster with networking? Can we just foster networking? I just think this is a really good opportunity to build relationships with our neighbours. They have similar interests now and into the future, and I think it can only add to us as a council and a community. So I do support this motion.
Yeah, I too would like to speak for it because they are very similar to us. They have, as I've got in here, they have natural gas, they have significant roadworks. They too are trying to build pools. Like, I just think it's invaluable, and they're just so nice. They just happy to share whatever you ask them, and I mean, they're happy to see us in the room at these things and try and look after us a little bit, I think. Well, especially me. Councillor O'Neill doesn't need much help looking after, but I do. So I just feel they're very genuine as a council, and they just, if they can help, they want to help. And they've gone through the wind farm thing, and they're going through the solar thing, or they've gone through the solar thing. So anything we can learn from them that's going to benefit us, and the fact that they're happy to share. I mean, their CEO just, says to Cameron, just ring if you need anything, just, whatever that looks like. So I just think we will get so much out of this, because networking is a great thing, but the thing about these guys is they're exactly the same. I mean, they're a lot more money than us, I get that, but, all their issues are the same as our issues. So I really feel that this would really benefit the whole of our councils together. So, so I will definitely be supporting this. Does anybody else like to speak? Councillor Hancock.
I'm very excited about this resolution. I think it is smart business, and I think it is a very strategic resolution from our mayor. And I look forward to this partnership because I think that they have got a lot that they can share with us, and we have a lot that we can share with them. And it makes sense to be good neighbours. It makes sense to work together. And I love the fact that when we have resolutions like this, that we're showing our community that we are being strategic in our thinking, and that we're putting our community first, and that's to build really good relationships with our neighbours. Fully supportive of this resolution.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Vincent.
Yeah, I'm fully supporting this resolution. I know the valuable conversations I've been able to have at the TSB events that we went to, and I think as we get into our portfolios, to have somebody that's like us in a portfolio that's similar to us that we can also share information with as well.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? All right. With that, summing up. Sorry, sum up.
No worries. I didn't have anything to add, but now I do. Thanks to Councillor Vincent. The conversation that we had, Wendy, the Mayor and I had with the Mayor and Deputy Mayor of Western Downs, it included, a lot of conversations about infrastructure and what we are both grappling with as, large regional councils. But I can tell you, they were mightily excited that we've introduced portfolios as a structure within our council. They have had portfolios since amalgamation, and they continue to work really effectively. In fact, they have done some thorough analysis of their structure. a broad brush across the state in terms of where councils are using portfolios to lead on the thematic areas. And when we shared with them that we had recently resolved to reintroduce them, they were pretty excited for the exact reasons that Councillor Vincent has just articulated. That there will be some crossovers in terms of the portfolios here to Western Downs. They're not identical and they shouldn't be, but there are some crossovers, and we can work at a portfolio level with our respective councillors across the border as well. So I think that is a really added benefit that we're going to have in building these relationships. As the Mayor said, they are pretty excited that we're back in the room. I can remember in my first term, Mayor Luffnan and Mayor Ray Brown from Western Downs, what they built between us. We in fact all jumped in a bus and headed down to Western Downs, and we spent a day and an evening with Western Downs so we could learn from the councillors of that day. And I think that was, for me, it was really, really valuable as a new councillor to understand what was happening in other shires, and we need to continue to do that because, as the Mayor has said, some of the industry developments that we're starting to see appear in the Maranoa region, they're not new to Western Downs. And so they have walked the path already, which we're going to learn from. And I can only see this as a valuable exercise. Of course, we've got our Southwest Rock membership to the west, and the Mayor represents council on the Darling Downs Southwest Council of Mayors, but this is closer. This is in the room, nutting out some of the issues and discussing them across border. And Mayor Taylor committed, as we all know, to rebuilding the relationships right across the board, and this is a step in the right direction. I wholeheartedly support it, and I'm honoured to be involved in what Mayor Taylor has put forward in catching up with Western Downs on a fairly regular basis.
Very good. With that, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. What are we up to now? We'll go back. We'll go back to L2. Are you ready, Matt?
You got the information for L2, Matt? Or?
No, I haven't quite.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
fine.
That's all right. No, that's all right. We're up to close then, are we? Yes, thank you. Right.
Brendan's going to do it. Look at that.
Someone to move into closed?
Who's going to do it? Someone else. Someone else's turn. There we go.
Councillor Seawright.
I move that we go into close.
Oh, any conflicts first though? Is there any?
Yeah,
Oh, Nikita was on it.
Sorry, we'll do the conflicts before we go into close. Okay, Councillor Hancock.
I'd like to declare a conflict on item C.3, Primary Road Project Construction Tender Award. Declaring councillor as Councillor Joanne Hancock. Person with interest is GL and JM Hancock, H5H Transport Trust, my husband and myself. Nicholas and Stephanie Hancock, son and daughter-in-law. Peter and Karen Hancock, brother and sister-in-law and business partners. Particulars of interest, all parties above whom I have a close association with own and operate heavy vehicles. Previously, I have declared and left the meeting on these issues. I have recently undertaken up-to-date training, and although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I believe I would reasonably be perceived to be impartial because I, or my related parties, would have no more benefit from the project than the broader community. Type of conflict, declarable conflict of interest. Although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision. And what did you tell me, primary or primaries?
Primaries.
It's meant to be Primaries Road. Sorry, in the heading. Primaries. Primaries Road. Thank you.
Councillor Brumpton.
I move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Hancock participates and votes on agenda item C3 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Have a seconder? Councillor Davis. All those in favour? 7-0. Have a think about that. Who else has got a conflict?
That's me.
Councillor Vincent. Should have known.
I've got to declare an interest for item C.6, a conversion to freehold application, lot 10 on WAR 31, lot 2 on WA 27. Declaring councillor is myself, Jane Vincent. WAR 27. Declaring councillor is myself, Jane Vincent. The person with the interest is my brother, Darren Humphreys. My brother has business interest associated with the leasee. It is a declarable conflict of interest, and I will leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Councillor Flynn's not in the room. Is that all we've got? Okay, so if we could move into close, please, Councillor Searight.
In accordance with the provisions of section 254J3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the council resolved to close the meeting to the public at 12:16 p.m. to discuss confidential items that its councillors consider is necessary to close the meeting. In accordance with section 254J5 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the following table provides the matters to be discussed, an overview of what is to be discussed while the meeting is closed. C1, Roma Denise Spencer Memorial Aquatic Centre, short list expressions of interest respondents. C2, request for fee waiver, Roma Airport. C3, Primaries Road Project Construction Tender Award. C4, Roma Rest Area Construction Tender Award. C5, Annual Road Rehabilitation Program Variation to 23-24 Contract, Gunnawarra Road, Middle Road, and Loop Road. C6, Conversion to Freehold Application Lot 10 on WAR 31, Lot 2 on WAR 27. C7, Renewal of Term Lease 0/238281. C8, Denise Spencer Pool Management Agreement, option to renew. C9, Natural Gas Doubtful Debts, Write-off Accounts. C10, Request for Payment Arrangement 140188824. C11, Request for Payment Arrangement 140292235. C12, Minor Amendment to the Organisational Structure. C14, Roma Airport Regular Public Transport Services Update. C15, Roma Denise Spencer Memorial Pool Redevelopment Project -3-5, Feather Street Relocation Update. C16, Cafe on Second Lease, option to renew. And that is it.
Have a seconder? Councillor Vincent, all those in favour? 8-0. I'm going to do some conflicts of interest before we go back into closed. Councillor Flynn?
C2.
No, I can't read it.
There you go.
Declare a conflict of interest on item C2, which is a request for fee waiver at Roma Airport. My name is Councillor Peter Flynn. My business, Maranoa Travel, of which I am a sole trader, is the interest-related party. Particulars of the interest is that Maranoa Travel, of which I am a sole trader, could be seen to be gaining some financial benefit from this decision. I believe it's a prescribed conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
C14?
Item C14, conflict of interest. Roma Airport Regular Public Transport Services Update. Declaring councillor myself, Peter Flynn. My business, Maranoa Travel, of which I am a sole trader, is the interested related party. My business has dealings with the commercial operator at Roma Airport and could be seen to be gaining some benefit from the discussion. And and I am declaring it a prescribed conflict of interest, sorry. And I will leave the room when the matter is discussed and voted on.
Councillor O'Neill.
I'd like to declare a conflict of interest on C2, description, request for fee waiver, Roma Airport, declaring councillors Councillor Cameron O'Neill, the person with the interest or related party close associated relationship is Councillor Peter Flynn. Particulars of the interest: Peter and I have served 3 terms together on Maranoa Regional Council, and we've been friends for nearly 20 years. It's a type of conflict is a declarable conflict of interest, and the action I'll take is, although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I remain and participate in the decision.
Councillor Brompton.
I move that it is in the public interest that Councillor O'Neill participates and votes on agenda item C2 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Burkett. All those in favour?
Can I ask a question? Sorry, Councillor O'Neill. So I need to get my cheat sheet out. So it's not a prescribed because it's not a close association.
It's no benefit, no financial benefit.
Yeah, it's not prescribed.
I just... Associate.
Start back here. Do you believe confidence of boss? Described. If you're close. Business employer. Parent-child civil corporation. Some of those.
Okay. Related parties.
Yeah,
What's a declarable?
it is.
Am I right?
It's a declarable conflict of interest.
Okay.
Thank you.
All those in favour? 7-0. Okay, so someone move to go back into closed?
I'll move we go into closed.
I'll second it.
Councillor O'Neill, Councillor Burkett, all those in favour? 9-0. Road grid safety project. Do I have a mover? Councillor Hancock.
I move that council write to the landowner thanking them for the request. 2, accept the offer from the landowner to upgrade the grid to 9 metres and approve a council contribution towards the cost of the additional grid on the Maranoa Road up to $5,000 ex GST. 3, fund the purchase from Waroo Directorate Operations and Maintenance General Ledger GL 02087.2017.
Happy to second that, Mr Mayor.
Seconded by Councillor Burkett. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
I do, thank you. Firstly, I'd like to thank the landowner for bringing this to council's attention. And whilst we do have a grid policy, and I do believe that this is a bit outside our grid policy, the reason that I'm supporting this is because it has been identified as a safety issue. And so therefore, I do thank the landowner for offering to work with council to make this instead of putting one grid in, put a double grid in, which will make it safer for our community along that road. And that's why I am supporting this. I think it'll be a betterment for the road. And yeah, I just want to thank them for bringing it to our attention.
Anyone like to speak against?
I've just got a question, if I
Yes.
can. The safety matters, did a council staff member pick that up, our road safety network personnel?
Councillor Davis, no. The landowner pointed out the issue to us, and we're just following up on this risk now. We think it's a good opportunity to address the risk right now. Given the road will be upgraded down the track, it'll be continue to be upgraded, but there's a seal just up the road, and that'll attract more traffic as well.
So the only conversation or notification you've had is that letter in which the landowner wrote the concerns?
That's correct. That's the only thing on record at the moment, and we take those matters very seriously.
Agree. Look, I also commend the landholder for taking the initiative and upgrading their own grid. However, this road sees less than 20 vehicles a day. Our own staff haven't designated or notified of a safety risk. It does not meet our requirements under the council's grids and gates policy to warrant an 8-metre grid, and I don't support it.
Anyone else like to speak for it?
Yeah,
Councillor
I'll
Durkin.
speak for it. I think this is great that the landowner brought it up, and I also commend local area director Matt on working with the landowner to get a good solution and being proactive. Historically, all grids are very narrow, and I think we've still got a lot around the Shire that potentially are a safety concern. So it's good that we're on the front foot, and hopefully with roadworks just up the road, the cost of getting it all done might come under. But I do think we need to look at safety concerns, and I think this is a good step forward.
Thank you. Anyone else against? Councillor Vincent.
Yeah, I'd like to commend the landholder for taking safety seriously. It is the landholder's responsibility to ensure that grids are safe. This is going against our grid policy, and there are other grids in our region that have similar, if not worse, approaches that do have safety issues as well that, you know, may come forward if this one's accepted today. So, yeah, sadly, I can't support this one.
Anyone else for? Sorry, Councillor O'Neill.
Yeah, I'll speak for. Whilst I acknowledge that it could raise an eyebrow in relation to the grids policy, the landowner could just put a 4-metre grid in there now and be done with it. But he's come to council and sought a partnership to improve it even further, to better it. And as a local government, we are continually lobbying and working with the state and Commonwealth when it comes to particularly flood money that goes into our roads, that we should better it. And we put a program together in the last term of council where we did contribute council money, ratepayers' money, over and above what we were getting from the flood money to better that asset. And I see this as no different. I acknowledge what Councillor Vincent said, and there will be others out there that need addressing, and we should address them and welcome the community to approach council so we can consider those on a case-by-case basis as well. I'm on those arguments, I'm happy to support this today.
Would you like to sum up, Councillor Hancock?
I want to speak against.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
I would like to speak against for the same reasons that have been articulated. I do commend the landholder for approaching us and Director Gain for bringing this forward, but I think our discussions around the gate and grid policy and around various other places across the Maranoa that would be in similar situations, I believe we need to have equitable consideration, and we need to make sure that we are doing something that fits in with the broader community. Maybe part of this is we do need to review the grid policy as well, because it obviously opened a few questions for us. But for those reasons around, I won't be supporting this one at this stage.
Thank you. Anyone else for?
I have a question.
Councillor Seawright.
I'm for this this motion in supporting it. Basically, a safety issue that's been highlighted to us. I think there's a responsibility to us to, while there's a chance to add minimum value of money to help get this upgraded happening. If, you know, to myself in my head, if we had passed on this and then, you know, future sees down the track an accident had happened, I couldn't actually bear that in my mind that, you know, if someone had a serious accident there and we had the opportunity to actually widen that that grid out to where it possibly needs to be to accommodate the angle of the road, I'm just supporting it in that sort of regard, and thank the landholder and Matt, the director again, to bring this forward to us.
You have a question, sorry, Councillor?
I do have a question. I just want to clarify. We've put 9 metres in the resolution, but in the report it says that the grid was going from 4 metres to 8 metres. I just want to make sure.
No, confirming today with the contractor that's offering the grid, they've confirmed it's definitely 9 metres, Councillor Hancock.
Okay. And my second question is, the single grid will be put in anyway. If this gets up or not today, that single grid, the landowner's putting that in because that had to be replaced. Is that correct? And then it's just that we're adding the extra grid to it to make it wide? So, or if this doesn't get up today, will there be no change to that grid at all?
That's essentially correct. He's not obligated to upgrade the grid, but he's offered to purchase 1 grid and then we're contributing to another grid. So 2 new grids will go in side by side, making 9 metres.
Okay.
So, sorry, just further to that then, sorry. So if this doesn't get up today, there's no intention to replace the grid that's there?
No.
That's correct. Yeah.
Can I ask a question then? Going on previous actions by council with unsafe grids, would he be issued with a notice that his grid is unsafe and that it would need replacing?
It'd come down to an engineering report. I think we'd have to do a bit more extensive engineering and just site analysis there. He's offered to, from anecdotal evidence and visual stuff from their side to that there's an issue. I think we'd have to go and then investigate it down the track and do an overview of, comprehensive analysis of the site itself.
Mayor, can I ask a question, please?
I just had...
You've got a question?
No,
Yeah.
you first.
Is this time critical?
It is, Councillor O'Neill, because the crew will be off site very soon and they'll be demobbing. So that's why I brought this to a late meeting today.
But it's not the crew that will be doing the work?
Not necessarily, no. The grid will be there, but they'll need to make a choice to take that grid off site. They're close to finishing at the site. They've got a grid or an asset they'd like to sell and move on. So they'll probably take the grid and use it for another project.
How quickly are they moving on that?
I think they're there for another probably 2 or 3 weeks, likely to be.
I just wonder, Mayor, this conversation has raised further issues for me that I'm not quite clear about now. Not discounting what you just said, I'm going to move that this lays on the table to an upcoming council meeting, which could mean we have a special meeting on it, but to an upcoming council meeting to understand the safety aspects that you've just raised and what Councillor Vincent has asked in her question. If there is a safety matter that's been raised, do we have to get an engineer to look at it, and would there be a notice put on the landowner?
Just before we do that, I've got 2. One for that. I think the safety was not so much the grid as the angle approaching the grid, not the actual grid. That was the safety concern, I'm pretty sure. And just to Councillor Hancock's point, that existing grid will be put in at the same time. It'll be because it'll have to go over, and then that'll be the centre line, so the road's not getting impacted. That'd be right, wouldn't it? Like when they put in, they're not going to just lumber it beside it. It'll get pushed across, and the centre will be the join of the 2 grids.
There'll be some earthworks involved.
They're
Councillor Beckett.
repurposing the existing grid there? No.
No. Right on the table.
Oh, is the new one 9 metres wide?
No,
I thought it was just doubling up, sorry.
2 new grids
So
side by
there's-
side.
4.5, yeah, so that's what I mean, side by side. So the centre point will be the join of the 2 grids, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not just butting on.
I've moved a procedural motion that this lays on the table to an upcoming council meeting.
all those in favour?
But what, are we getting information
Against?
I've just
8-1.
asked my questions.
8-1, if I call for a division.
Thanks, Council.
back?
Thanks, Matt.
We're going to go on to C1.
So I'm still a bit confused. So is he giving us information?
Oh, sorry.
Would
Or a council meeting or a briefing?
Oh, yeah,
Or what?
sure. I didn't know we didn't do 10.1, sorry. 10.1.
You had 10.1 written on the sheet for some reason.
Oh, the charity shoot, sorry. Sorry, Daniel. When you're ready.
So I've discussed with both RFDS and Lifelight, and they've come up with the dates of the 6th of August or the 3rd of September for RFDS, and then pending on that decision, Lifelight, 24th of September or sometime in October. So either one is, or any of those dates are acceptable for them. The reason, just going back over my report before, one of the main reasons I didn't put a date in the resolution is if we do have a forecast of wet weather or something like that, if I do have a date in here, I've got to come back here to get that amended. But they're the dates that have, essentially we would lock in a date because we would be advertising and going with that one. So
I just have a question, if that's okay. So within the policy, the obligation is to provide a marketing campaign to council, which is to be agreed to by council no later than 4 weeks prior to the charity sale date. So that's not 4 weeks, and we don't actually have the marketing campaign. Is that correct?
So my understanding and how we've done it previously is that the council is they just provide it to the sale yards or to the operations to myself. And then I approve that, but if there's a different interpretation, I'm happy to run with that one. It is also worth noting, because of the policy change, we have indicated that we will accept a slightly pared back marketing campaign, so they're not expending a lot of money on their side to get a capped amount. So we're thinking just social media, existing marketing channels on our side and on their side, rather than taking out full page ads in the paper and etc. So
And bringing their team out.
So 6th of August or the 3rd of September for the RFDS. 6th of August is just on the 4 week, it's just under the 4 weeks. So 3rd of September would be the alternative. And then pending on that date, live flight 24th of September or any Tuesday in October.
So the other thing with the RFDS, they also, people sell cattle for them as well on that sale, don't they?
Yeah, so they'll also be approaching the Agents Association to send out through their marketing networks to say if you want to donate a single beast, a pen of cattle, to donate the proceeds or part thereof to that.
Yeah, so they'd need 4 weeks, really.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable with the 3rd of September and pushing live flight back to October. The reason prior commitments on their side is why they've sort of said 6th of August or to September, because I think they're going to the ECA and have other commitments for their fundraising team.
Okay. So we'll put a date in?
So are we happy not to put the date in then in case it does rain? We
Well,
know the dates.
I just wondered if D could be DI, note the dates of the 6th of August and the 3rd of September for RFDS, and the 24th of September or any Tuesday in October for Lifelight. And then a 2.2 would be authorise the CEO or delegate to finalise the dates.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't have to come back to us, and we are fulfilling the commitment of the policy by actually having the dates in the albeit.
And ideally, we'll lock in a date so we can get out the advertisement early, and it would only be if there's a week of wet weather and
then 2.2 like would be authorise the CEO or delegate to finalise the sale dates.
Has anybody else got any questions?
Just have to change that 6th of August.
Yeah, she's getting there. Oh, okay, so have a mover. Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move the council endorse the request from both Lifelight and RFDS registered charities to hold separate store sale fundraisers at the Roma sale yards on fundraisers at the Roma sale yards in accordance with the Roma sale yards annual store sale fundraiser policy. B, authorise Lifelight and RFDS to market the charity sale event via their promotional channels and have an engaging presence at the charity sale day, which benefits the present sale yard stakeholders. C, assist Lifelight and RFDS with the co-promotion via council media. And D, note the dates of the 6th of August 2024 and the 3rd of September 2024 for RFDS, and the 24th of September or any Tuesday in October 2024 for Lifeline. 2, authorise the CEO or delegate to finalise the sale dates.
Have a seconder? Councillor Burkett? Anyone, would you like to speak, Councillor O'Neill?
Only to contribute that this is a policy of council agreed to in the previous term, where our Roma sale yard supports 2 sales per financial year for aeronautical organisations, aeronautical organisations, and this is fulfilling that obligation of that policy and approving the request that we've received from the Royal Flying Doctor Service and from Lifeline.
Anyone else like to speak against?
Just wanted to, via co-promotion via council media opportunities.
Which is what,
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone speak against? Anyone else for? Going to go to the vote? All those in favour? 9-0. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel. There was nothing left over in the open, was there?
That in the open?
Yeah, the one we laid on.
We're on to C1. Roma Denise Spencer Memorial Aquatic Centre shortlist EO expression of interest respondents. Do I have a mover? Councillor Brompton.
I move that Council 1 shortlist the following contractors for the Roma Denise Spencer Memorial Aquatic Centre project construction tender. A, Bryant Building Contractors. B, Hines Construction. C, Spantech. D, Taylor's Builders. E, Woolham Constructions. 2, invite written tenders for the construction of the Roma Denise Spencer Memorial Aquatic Centre from the shortlisted contractors.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Vincent. Would you like to speak, Councillor Brompton?
Yes, I would like to. This is the next stage in our proposal of this council to progress the Denise Spencer Memorial Aquatic Centre project, which is an exciting intergenerational project for the community. We hope that we can receive some valuable tenders and commence the process as soon as possible.
Thank you. Anyone against? Anyone else like to speak for? Going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. C2, request for fee waiver, Roma Airport. Councillor Finn is
To read that out again or not?
Yep.
Hopefully it won't be that long, mate. Hopefully it won't be that long.
Councillor Flynn is leaving the room. Do I have a mover? Councillor Seawright.
I move that council defer the recovery of fees and charges attached to this report for all users and consider it further as a part of a broader operational airport business unit review.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor O'Neill. Would you like to speak to the motion, Councillor Seawright?
Yeah, I would just in regards on basically on discussion, it's probably more fair in regards that we should actually take an operational review on this in regards to, I guess, deferring one person's fees against everyone else's, examining other airports to see if they charge the same. We do, acknowledge that some of this is attached to compliance as well, but and it will be, I guess, brought forward in the later review, and whether or not it needs to continue or be scrapped altogether will be a decision later for council.
Thank you. Anyone against? Anyone else like to speak for? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll speak for. I think this is an appropriate step as council turns its mind to the broader operation of the airport as a business unit for council. We have committed as a council to looking at all of our business units, including the airport, to understand how it's running, what the fees and charges are attached to it. And I think this is a prudent step just to defer it until council has the time to undertake that review and give due consideration to all different aspects of running the airport in Roma.
Would anyone else like to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0.
Oops, I jumped there.
C3, Primaries Road Project Construction Tender Award. Do I have a mover, councillor O'Neill?
I'll move that Council 1 select Sufcom Proprietary Limited as the recommended tenderer for the Primaries Road project. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to 1, enter into final negotiations to identify cost-saving initiatives with Sufcom Proprietary Limited, noting a tender value of $2,223,296.65, excluding GST. 2, execute the contract if the final terms are acceptable. 3, allocated an additional $486,800 to the project budget from projects in the 2024-25 Capital Works Roads and Drainage portfolio that will be funded by the additional roads to recovery allocation. 4, authorise to the nominated superintendent for council the delegation to order variations up to the value of the approved budget, noting the nature of the contract and the requirement to use variations to achieve project goals.
Do I have a seconder, councillor Burkett? Would you like to speak to the motion?
I would. Thanks, Chair. This project has been on the books for nearly as long as I've been on council. It will be a major step in the right direction in terms of improving the inward and outward flow of the Roma Saleyards precinct. I know there has been a power of work done over many years, both from staff and advocacy from councillors that are in this room, but councillors from former terms of council that I've been involved in to ensure that this is a priority for all the Roma Saleyards. This is the right decision for us to ensure that we are going to see this project come to fruition, done well, done timely, and done to a standard in which it will be used by all trucks entering the facility. So I wholeheartedly support this decision and encourage councillors to support it as well.
Anyone speak against? Anybody else like to speak for? Councillor Burkett?
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate what Councillor O'Neill said. I can't speak for previous terms, but I do last term, and acting CEO in his former role, he did a power of work with his staff, and I think this is the stepping stone to go to the next stage with the loading ramps, which is we've all been waiting for. So I applaud the staff, and I encourage everyone to support this motion.
Anybody else like to speak? We're going to go to the vote.
No.
All those, oh, you want some up?
Sorry, I just, the hand didn't go up, but the
sorry.
gesture towards the microphone was there.
No, don't worry. I'd just like to reiterate the previous speakers and also comment on the safety aspect of what this project will bring to the entrance to town and the entrance to the Roma Saleyards. For a period of years now, the access to the Roma Saleyards and the access of vehicles into areas near the Roma Saleyards has been of major concern as far as heavy vehicle safety goes. I'm sure this will address some of the issues that have been of those concerns.
Thank you. Would you like to sum up, Councillor?
Yeah, just very briefly, thanks, Mayor. Councillor Burkett raises a really important point that this project is a domino project in relation to what improvements we can continue to do at the Roma Saleyards. I know that there is a lot of users, whether it's the people transporting the stock in and out, whether it's the cattle producers themselves, the agents. They have advocated for a long time to see improvements to the loading ramps. We can't achieve that without having the access via Primaries Road, and so this will open up some real opportunities to some great improvements out at our facility, and I can't wait to see the first truck drive over it into our Saleyards.
Thank you. Okay, we're all going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0.
Oh, statement of reasons.
Oh, so we need a statement of reason, sorry.
Statement of reason is the decision made today is on the basis that it is ongoing development and support of local business, and the contractor has previous examples and demonstrated ability to deliver projects of this scale and complexity.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to C4, Roma Rest Area Construction Tender Award. Do I have, Councillor Hancock?
I move that council select.
Oh. No, you've got
No,
you.
it's an alternate.
Oh,
further
it's not
down.
this one, it's the one I've got written in front of me. Perfect. That council, select Roma Earth Moving DMAC Pty Ltd as the recommended tenderer for the Roma Rest Area Construction Project. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to enter into final negotiations with Roma Earth Moving DMAC Pty Ltd, noting a contract sum value of $1,713,744.97, excluding GST, and execute the contract if the final terms are acceptable. 3, authorise the nominated superintendent for council the delegation to order variations up to the value of the approved budget, noting the nature of the contract and the requirement to use variations to achieve project goals.
Have a seconder? Councillor Burkett? I just have a query.
Yep. We had a discussion about a shelter. I forget what the,
Oh, to do that when
I forget what, there was a deferred
yeah.
shelter in the proposal.
Point 4.
Was.
And the costings.
Yes.
That the council be provided with the costings associated with the shelter that is in the design brief. That is not included
In the price.
in this price.
So that we can consider adding it to,
Be provided with the costing associated with the shelter that is not included in this price. So this can be considered as an additional add-on to the project.
Yep, so this can be considered,
to an additional project being the toilet.
No.
No.
Add-on to the project.
to be constructed at the same time as the project or something like that.
But we just have to consider it not for the first.
Can I just ask a question? There is currently a shelter there that is closer to the cricket oval.
Oh, that skillion roof one, flat roof.
Yeah, there's a shelter, a little shelter
Yeah.
near the cricket oval.
I think this covers it
Yeah.
in terms of getting the cost
All
back.
we're asking is for a cost so we can consider
It
it.
should just say in this tender price, so this can be considered as additional add-on project.
Okay, did I have a seconder?
Yeah, I seconded it.
Oh, sorry, councillor Burkett. Would you like to speak to the motion?
Yeah, I do. Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'm really excited about this project. It has been something that I have looked at for the 23 years of driving past it at Roma, and have always thought it needed upgraded. And I was excited that the money went into the budget for this project. I'm excited to see the detail drawings of the project, and I'm excited to award a tender today to a local business for the project, and can't wait to see it finished.
Anyone against? I'd just like to say I'm going to vote for this as well because I too can't wait to see it, and it looks amazing in what we've seen today. So, yeah, let's just get that all tidied up because when it rains there, it's not pretty either. So that'll be great. And Councillor Burkett?
I'll speak for.
Yep.
I agree with both speakers. I think it's going to really emphasise the entrance to town and hopefully tie in with across the road down the track. But I think it'll also help the local sporting group, actual owner that lives down that way. But I think that road does become a mess after rain, and you pull up there to use the toilet, and you're bumping there. You're nearly wanting to go to the toilet if you didn't want to go the bounded bumps. So I think it'll be great. Aesthetically, it'll look really good. So look forward to it come to fruition.
Yeah. Anyone else like to speak? Councillor O'Neill?
Thanks, Mayor. I'll support this as well. the approaches into all of our towns is often a topic of concern for our community, that aesthetically we're not as pleasing as some of our cousins around us in terms of local government. It's fair to say that this particular part of the approach to Roma has been a bit of an eyesore and has been for some time. There is a really positive development happening across the road in terms of the outback sculptures, and I think this is a good move for council to show that we are committed to that overall precinct and making it nicer to come into our community and more inviting. And so I too am pretty impressed with the detailed design, and I think at the appropriate time, and that might be tomorrow, that we share what that design is conceptually with our community, so they too can see what the vision is. There's more work to be done, of course, across the road to tie everything in, but this is a step in the right direction, and I know there'll be one former councillor and Councillor Ree Price that'll be jumping up and down when she sees that council has resolved today to award a local to do the work there, because this is a project that I can recall her raising many times in my first term as someone that was coming into town from that end of the region. So very supportive of this and look forward to when it's all done.
Anybody else like to speak? Just gonna say the Parks and Garden portfolio looks pretty good.
I was going to say something, but I thought everyone
She's
else
on
had
easy
already
street,
said it.
I'm saying. Okay, let's take it to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0.
Mr Mayor, can you just call it an adjournment? I just want to clarify something.
Yep, I'll call for adjournment. We're just going to start up again and just say we just had a bit of a technical glitch there, so we'll just keep going now on C5, which is the annual road rehabilitation program variation to 23-24 contract, Gunnawara Road, Middle Road and Loop Road. Do I have a mover? Councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move that Council 1 authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to award a variation to Cooper McCulloch Group Proprietary Limited, valued at $970,028.62, excluding GST, for bitumen rehabilitation of the following road sections: A. Gunnawara Road, chainage 3.5 to 5.92 kilometres. B. Middle Road, chainage 0 to 2.6 kilometres. C. Loop Road, chainage 39.633 to 39.673 kilometres, and chainage 40.997 to 41.217 kilometres, and chainage 41.979 to 42.5 kilometres. And D. Engine wash pad, additional 2134 metres squared area that is not currently paved and sealed. 2. Note the variation price is based on schedule of rates pricing, therefore the final variation cost depends on the exact area completed and is expected to vary by around 10%, which is within the collective budget allocations.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Brompton. Would you like to speak to the motion?
Oh, just to say thanks to staff for tying these up. Some of these have been probably overdue, and especially like the Loop Road, to fill in the gaps that weren't done under the flood. So I think it's a great for all those residents around that area, and also the guys that use the engine wash pad. So thanks to staff.
Anyone speak against? For? Councillor Vincent.
Yeah, I'd like to speak for this one. Yeah, it's great. Thanks to the contract program and contract management team for finding these budget savings. And yes, I agree with Councillor Burkett. There's some roads on there, engine wash pad in particular, that's been hanging around to be done for quite a while now. So that'll be great to see those ones done.
Anybody else like to speak? We're going to go, would you like to sum up?
No,
Councillor?
thanks.
We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Moving on to C6. Sorry?
Oh, it's just not called.
You're out. No, you're right. Oh, sorry. Conversion to freehold application lot 10 on WAR 31 and lot 2 on WAR 27. Councillor Vincent's declared a conflict, so she's leaving the room. Do I have a mover? Councillor Brompton.
I move that council advise the Department of Resources that 1, it offers no objection to the conversion of rolling term lease TL 0/217810 being Lot 10 on WIR 31 to freehold tenure subject to the conditions below. A, Lot 10 on WA 31 is close to a key feature in the Mount Moffat section of the Carnarvon National Park, being Battleship Spur, and that the request, if supported, is not to impact public access to this location. B, the road type parcel is still required for its gazetted purposes. And 2, offers no, that should be that council offers, I think we said council at the top, offers no objection to the conversion of rolling term lease PH 36/3453, being Lot 2 on WIR 27, to freehold tenure subject to the condition below. A, Lot 2 on WIR 27 is close to a key feature in the Mount Moffat section of the Carnarvon National Park, being Battleship Spur, and that the request, if supported, is not to impact public access to this location. And B, the road type parcel is still required for its gazetted purpose.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Davis, would you like to speak to the motion, Councillor Prompton?
No, I think we were given this information by the department officers, and it's about some changes at the state level. We've just put our considerations in there for the department to consider, and we wanted to be sure that they were aware that we didn't want access being impeded on, but obviously it's not our decision really, but we will do our best to include that in our response to them.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. C7, renewal of term lease O/238-281, lot 165 on WV 119, Old Chatford Road, Wallumbilla North. Do I have a mover? Councillor Vincent.
I move that Council 1 advises the Department of Resources that Council has an objection on the renewal of a 10-year lease 0/238-281 on lot 165 on WV 1195, Old Chatford Road, Wallumbilla North, being primary stock route reserve. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to enter negotiations with the current leasee, if required, to offer a trustee permit for up to 2 years over lot 165 on WV 1195, Old Chatford Road, Wallumbilla North, if the Department of Resources confirms that it does not intend to renew term lease 0/238281.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Seawright, would you like to speak to it, Councillor Vincent?
No, thank you.
Anyone like to speak against? Anyone like to speak for? Councillor Brompton?
I think that we just need to acknowledge that the Department of Resources have hold this lease and have written to us about the what we require for this. Did we talk about being part of looking at future rural? Am I confused?
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, but in terms of authorising the chief executive at this stage to enter in the trustee permit, we are acknowledging that there is a review happening and the community is being consulted about some of the rural stock routes, and we don't want to preempt what may be a consideration of council down the track. So we're trying to leave that open for future and make sure people aren't treated differently along the track.
Anyone else like to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. C8, Denise Spencer Pool Management Agreement, option to renew. Sorry. Do I have a mover?
What did we end up?
Councillor O'Neill.
Was there? Did you want to propose something?
Who?
I
Councillor
was just
Davis.
going to pop the figure in just for open and transparent, but I can read that if you like.
Well, you could move it with
Okay,
it.
I'll
So,
move
yeah.
it then. Thank you.
Councillor Davis.
Thank you. I move that council, 1, approve the extension of Denise Spencer swimming pool agreement for a further 1 year.
Pool management agreement.
Pool
Yep.
management agreement for a further 1 year until the 6th of August 2025 to be funded from work order 14274.2325. 2, note that the annual management fee is $539,250. 3, be presented with a report at a future council meeting should the pool project construction begin within the agreed period.
Agreement period. Do I have a second? Councillor Burkett, would you like to speak to the motion, Councillor Davis?
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay. Anyone like to speak against? Anyone else like to speak? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll speak for it. I would have moved it, but I just didn't have the figure. And I know that Councillor Davis wanted to put the figure in there, and I support that. I'm happy to support this today, noting that I didn't support it when it first came to council. And I didn't support it then because I didn't agree with the free entry to pools, and it caused a significant change in the contract valuation that the ratepayers would have to fund in relation to that. I'm supportive of this today because we have been very open and transparent in council's position that we are undertaking all of the planning that is required, and we moved a resolution today to go out to tender in relation to the renewals that will happen at the Roma Denise Spencer pool. But we need to continue operating the pool for the users of the Roma pool. And to do that, we need to agree to another year on the current agreement, which was put in place 2 years ago. So I'm supportive on the basis that we keep the pool open for the users. And I just wanted to be open and clear as to why I'm supportive of this today when I was so vehemently in opposition to it 2 years ago.
Anyone against? Anyone against? Councillor Henkel.
Yes, sadly, actually, I am going to vote against this simply because I did vote against it back when it come to the table. It is by no reflection of the pool operator. I think the pool operator is doing a wonderful job. I understand why they would want to extend for the extra year. I understand that it is a good business continuity for business while we're dealing with the upgrade of the pool. But I just can't vote for it today simply because of the amount it is and the cost it is to the community. And I want to say that that is because of the free entry to the pools that was put in under the previous council. I look forward to the day where that policy comes back, or that decision comes back to this term of council, so that we can have another look at how we see our pools in this term of council. So simply, I can't support it because of the financial contribution that it is and to our community.
Anyone else for?
I'll speak
Councillor
for. I did support this, and it wasn't something that I totally wanted to, but we were hemmed in a bit, I think, with the state of the pool and the extra hours that were having to be done by the leasee, the extra lifeguards that were enforced. I don't think it's all on the free pool, which I still support. It might be different. You can't compare Roma with any other pool in the region because it's not apples for apples. But I think definitely the free pool's working in the other areas. The stats alone show that. But I think we're still, all this is up in the air until we set a date and we start on the pool. That'll dictate a lot of things. So it's really just surmising at the moment and when things are going to start and when they're going to stop until we get that date with the tenders back. then we can move forward. Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak against? Councillor Davis?
Not against, sorry.
Oh, I'm going to speak against. I too can't vote for this because I voted not to do the pool as a free pool and pay someone $500,000 to do it. So for me, it's got to be a no. I know, and I too don't have anything against the pool operator, but I just can't vote for something that I don't believe in. So I will be voting against this today. Councillor Davis.
Thank you. I just wanted to add that I do think this is the best option for today. I do acknowledge the cost. It is a large price tag for a free pool and what it's currently costing council. But until we get that tender out and that we can start construction, this is the best decision, in my opinion, that we can make today, is to resolve this motion.
Anybody else want to speak against? Would the mover like to sum up? Or anyone else want to speak for? Sorry.
Oh, that wasn't summing up. Oh.
No.
It could have been.
Yes,
whatever you want to.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
It probably was. Sorry.
Well, in fairness, the mover
That was
didn't
my fault.
exercise her right to speak
I
in the
didn't.
first instance.
Was that bad?
No,
Okay.
that's your choice.
Yeah.
Just
so
checking.
Anyone else like to speak at all? Everybody happy? Okay, we're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? Against? 7-2 if I can call for a division.
6, 3, 2. I think you said 3, and I was saying, no, that doesn't get
7-2.
No,
7-2?
it's my deaf ears, not yours, sorry.
I've only got one hearing aid.
I thought you
too,
said
haven't
7-3, no, there's an extra one here.
Okay, C9, natural gas doubtful debts written off accounts. Do I have a mover? Councillor Seawright.
I move that the council approve the write-off of natural gas account debts as presented.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Brompton. Anyone, would you like to speak?
Putting it up twice, you're going to get it.
Would anybody like to speak for the motion? Against the motion? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll be speaking against this. I don't support writing off these debts. I understand that there is a cost for us pursuing them, but I just can't in good conscience see these huge amounts again on individuals and us just simply writing them off. I've spoken against this in the past and I do so again today. We've got to come up with a far better process so that we are not continuing to write off these bad debts that seem to haunt us, particularly when it comes to gas. Whilst this is not as large as what it has been previously, it is still a sizable amount, and so on that basis I won't be supporting.
Anyone like to speak for? Councillor Brompton.
I acknowledge Councillor O'Neill's issues with this. I do see it as cleaning up a lot of old debts, and we've certainly had big discussions about moving forward and how these could be managed a bit better. I think it would be good to have a clean slate. I also find it difficult to write off amounts of debt, some of them large business amounts. But I do believe if we get a clean slate and have a good process going forward, we will be able to be more on top of these as they're happening and start with a much better process going forward.
Anyone else like to speak against? Would the mover like to sum up?
Can I speak for?
Oh, sorry. Yes, you may.
It actually annoys me to be having to vote for writing off debts as well. I think that, people use the gas, they should pay for it. But in saying that, I also acknowledge that the staff have done all that they can do to try and recoup the debt. I agree with Councillor O'Neill. We need to get better processes to try and protect our organisation from these in the future. But that from the list that we had in front of us today, which is the ones that we're looking at to write off, I do believe that we have tried as hard as we can to be able to recoup that, and any more just adds further cost to council. And so whilst it annoys me that I have to support this, I will support it from a practical solution for council.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Searle, would you like to sum up?
I'll just sum up in the same respect that Councillor Hancock and Councillor Brompton spoke to, that it is just a sadly having to clean up some older bad debts, and in respect that it is actually stuff that we have pursued, and we've tried our very best to actually recover these debts, and moving forward we are. There is alternate ways if these customers do appear on the books again, or in the request for another gas account, that they would actually have to pay their bad debt in full before they get a new connection.
Okay, on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? Against? 8-1 if I can call for a division. We're up to C10. Request for payment arrangement 14018824. Do I have a mover? Councillor Davis.
I move that council consider the ratepayers' request.
Approve, council approve.
Sorry. That council approve the ratepayers' request to pay his rates after the due date in February 2025, and we put his account on hold, charging interest at 11%, thereby avoiding additional legal fees and reducing the angry contact to staff.
Have a seconder? Councillor O'Neill. Would you like to speak, Councillor Davis?
Yes, thank you. Just, we've recently adopted that our interest is going to be 11% for any overdue fees, where I also see this recommendation as protecting our staff, and I'll be supporting it today.
Anyone speak against? 4? Okay, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. C11, request for payment arrangement 14029235. Do I have a mover? Councillor Vincent.
I move that council receive and note the request. 1, receive and note the request. 2, approve the proposed payment arrangement of $100 per week and advise the ratepayer that all rates and charges must be paid in full by 31st of December 2024. 3, advise the ratepayer that should a payment be missed without approval, or should the rates and charges not be fully paid by the 31st of December 2024, the debt recovery action will commence.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Seawright. Would you like to talk to this, Councillor Vincent?
No.
Anyone want to speak against? 4? Okay, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. C12. Minor amendment to the organisational structure. Do I have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move the council as per section 1961 of the Local Government Act 2009 endorse the proposed amendments to the organisational structure as follows. 1, lead officer elected members and community engagement 0209 to change reporting lines from Director Corporate Services to Chief Executive Officer. 2, Executive Service Officers 0506 and 0863 to change reporting lines from Chief Executive Officer to elected members and community engagement.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Vincent. Would you like to speak, Councillor O'Neill?
Yeah, thanks very much, Mayor. I am fully supportive of this on a couple of fronts. One, again, as I've expressed previously when we dealt with the matter to do with the reporting lines for the Manager of Communications, the decision around organisation and the organisational structure rests with this room, as it always should have. And now it is returning back to that. I'm pleased that we've received the advice as recent as yesterday, informing us that it is the responsibility on the shoulders of the 9 elected people to determine the organisational structure, and it's the role of the CEO to ensure that those positions are filled and who they're filled by. On the matter at hand, I'm very supportive of the lead officer elected members and community engagement reporting directly to the CEO. This is the role that councillors have and mayor have direct involvement with. It is the officer and the officers that will report to this position that help councillors do their job. And it just makes complete sense that they fall under the direct responsibility of the CEO, the one position that councillors in this room can determine. And so I welcome this change. I think it is the right move. It's a structure that was in place when I first joined council in 2012 and worked exceptionally well, and I know it will again in the future.
Anyone like to speak against? For? Councillor Davis.
I propose two words into dot point 2, the lines from Chief Executive Officer to the lead officer, elected members and community engagement.
I'm happy with that.
Okay. Did you want to speak to the motion? Councillor Davis? No. Councillor Vincent?
You just got to check the seconder's happy with that change.
I was just, who was the seconder? Councillor
Yes, I
Vincent,
am,
you happy
with
with
the
that?
capital L
Oh.
and the capital O.
With the capital L and capital O.
Yes, I support this recommendation from our acting chief executive officer. The professional relationship with these staff members, from a councillor's perspective and the CEO's perspective, it makes perfect sense. I agree with Councillor O'Neill. It was so great to receive that training yesterday that reiterated that the organisational structure is councillors' responsibility. So really appreciate these reports coming to us so we can make the determinations.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Hancock.
I'd just like to thank the acting CEO, Cam, for having a look at the organisation, and in the short time that you've been in the seat, you've been able to bring forward a couple of suggestions to us for us to consider, and I thank you for following that correct process of being able to see that some change could be better for the organisation, and then bringing it to this council chamber so that the 9 of us as elected members can actually make the change on our organisational structure. And for this change, I totally agree with it. It makes perfect sense. I can see that it will be seamless. I can see that it makes sense to us, and it also makes sense to the staff. And so I wholeheartedly support this change in our organisational structure.
Anybody else like to speak? Councillor Davis, O'Neill, oh sorry, I was just looking at the wrong thing. Would you like to sum up?
No.
We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. We did see 13, didn't we?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dealt with it first up this morning.
That was yesterday.
C14, Roma Airport Regular Pay Public Transport Services Update. Councillor Flynn is leaving the room. Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that Council 1 provide written correspondence to Director General Sally Stennard, Department of Transport and Main Roads, DTMR, with an update on the matter, including seeking clarity on the proposed changes to the flight timetable for Phase 1.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Davis. Would you like to speak, Councillor O'Neill?
No, thank you.
Would anyone like to speak for? Against? Going to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0.
Okay.
C15, Robin and East Spencer Memorial Pool Redevelopment Project, 3 to 5 Feather Street relocation update. Can I have a mover? Councillor Brompton.
I move that Council 1 receive and note this report by way of update to Council Resolution OM/08.2023/85. 2, approve the relocation and re-establishment of the house from 3 to 5 Feather Street to council-owned vacant land on Corfe Road, Roma, in accordance with the 2024-25 Capital Works budget allocation. 3, invite written tenders for the purchase and removal of the pool house and double lock-up garage at 3 to 5 Feather Street, Roma, with a removal date prior to 30th of September 2024.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Burkett, would you like to speak, Councillor Brompton?
Only to say that this resolution goes hand in hand with the other work that we're doing around the Denise Spencer Memorial Pool upgrade. So all these things need to happen in sync so that we can actually proceed with that redevelopment. And this was an opportunity. This house was House and Land was purchased by the previous council, I understand, and we've seen an opportunity to actually move it to other council land and then on-sell it.
Someone like to speak against? For? Councillor Burkett?
Yeah, I'd just like to follow on from Councillor Brumpton. I think all those points it's perfect in a perfect world if it all comes together. In the end result, we'll have a beautiful water facility, and we'll have someone living in a house that's solving a housing issue straight across from the golf club. So hopefully a retired golf pro comes over and solves all the issues. So no, I'm looking forward to it all to fit into place.
Anyone else like to speak for? Going to go to the vote? Or do you want to sum up, Councillor Brumpton?
I don't think there's any need.
Going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. C16, cafe on second lease, option to renew. Councillor Vincent.
I move that Council 1 approve the extension of the in-June commercial space lease agreement with Womblebank Sawmilling Co Proprietary Limited for a further 1-year term until 2nd of July 2025. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to execute documentations relating to the renewal of the lease.
Seconded by Councillor Brumpton. Would you like to speak, Councillor Vincent?
Yeah, just quickly, just congratulations to Nikki and her team up there. The vitality and vibrancy that they bring to the corner up there at In June is to be congratulated.
Anyone like to speak against? For? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. That's it. If there's any further business, I'll close the meeting at 6:12 and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.